Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Boston Red Sox baseball on the TV 38 Red Sox Network. This afternoon, on a beautiful day at Fenway Park, the Red Sox and Cleveland Indians wrap up a four-game series. Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Sean McDonough, along with Bob Montgomery. It's nice to have you with us as the Red Sox go for a split of this four-game set. And this afternoon, they'll have Ron Mayhay in the starting lineup. I guess it depends on how you define replacement player as to whether or not he was a replacement player this spring, but looks like his new teammates view him as such, and it'll be interesting to see how they respond to him as the days go along.
Sean, he never actually signed a contract stating that he would be a replacement player. He was let go before the regulars started back in. He was called back into spring training, which I understand caused a little bit of confusion with the regular players and Mayhay. I understand also there's been another meeting here after he's rejoined this ball club with Tinsley going on the disabled list between Greenwell, some of the players, Mayhay, and the manager Kevin Kennedy. Kevin Kennedy told me this morning he is satisfied with that situation, but yesterday it didn't seem to be that way when he was taking some outfield practice. No one near Ron Mayhay in the outfield.
And not many hitters have gotten near Erik Hanson when he has pitched of late. He's been about as good as you can be, and the starting pitching has been that way virtually throughout this season, Monty. But the bad news, particularly of late, has been the bullpen, which has given away the games the last 2 days to Cleveland.
Sean, on the plus side, it's certainly the day that you'd like to give the ball to Erik Hanson, the way he's pitched, one of the hottest pitchers in all of baseball. However, in his last start, he threw 140 pitches. That might tell us that he may have a tough time going the 9 innings today. And if you have to get to the bullpen, it's not a site that you want to get to lightly. And besides that, we're not sure whether Stan Belinda is available or not. He has a slight right hamstring pull. Yet another leg injury to a major league player.
Today's starting pitchers are brought to you by your New England Toyota dealer. For Toyota value, it's simply the best. It'll be Hanson with the league's best ERA and 3-0 record against the veteran left-hander Bud Black, who's making just his second start for Cleveland this season. The starting lineups and first pitch from Fenway Park in a moment. TV 38 Sports presents Boston Red Sox baseball, brought to you in part by Smooth Bush Beer and easy drinking Bush Light. By AT&T for the life of your business. By your New England Toyota dealers. For Toyota value, it's simply the best. By Hoover. Nobody gets the dirt like Hoover. Nobody. And by the 9X Yellow Pages. More information, more solutions, more stuff. And we welcome you back to Fenway Park, where the Red Sox are now just taking the field on this glorious afternoon. Springtime has finally arrived here in the hub, and a good crowd on hand. It's Shawmut Bank Lunch Pack Cooler Day. The first 15,000 fans 15 years of age or younger receive the Shawmut Bank Lunch Pack Cooler. Now, Leanna Potter, Vice President of Private Banking at Shawmut Bank, will sing our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets regular, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
I was going to say she sings pretty well for a banker, but she sings pretty well regardless of her occupation. Leanna Potter of Shawmut Bank with our national anthem. Today's starting lineups are brought to you by your New England Ford dealers, the quality dealers with 5 of the top 10 best-selling vehicles in America. For the Cleveland Indians this afternoon, Kenny Lofton leads off in center field. Omar Vizquel is the shortstop. Carlos Baerga at second base. Albert Bell, the left fielder, is the cleanup hitter. Eddie Murray is the DH batting fifth. Hitting sixth and playing third base, Jim Thome. Manny Ramirez is the right fielder batting seventh. Hitting eighth and playing first base, Paul Sorrento. And the catcher, Tony Pena, hits ninth. It will be Bud Black on the mound for Cleveland, and for the Red Sox, Erik Hanson.
Coming off an outstanding start against the Milwaukee Brewers to run his record to 3-0. That earned run average of 0.71 leads the major leagues. In that last outing against the Brewers, gave up just 4 hits. I mentioned in the opening he threw 140 pitches in that ball game, and over the last 6 2/3, just one of those 4 hits given up against the Brewers. Look at that fabulous 2-base on ball, 27 strikeout total. He's been beautiful with the control.
And the defense behind him this afternoon has Mike Greenwell in left field. Ron Mayhay making his major league debut in center. Mark Whitten is in right. Tim Naring, the third baseman. John Valentin at short. Terry Shumpert gets the start today at second. Mo Vaughn at first, and Mike McFarland is behind the plate. Larry McCoy is the home plate umpire with Rick Reed at first. John Hirschbeck at second, and Jim Evans, the crew chief, has the plays at third.
Number 7, center fielder,
Kevin Kennedy, a little bit despondent after yesterday's loss. Second time in as many days the Red Sox had blown a lead late. Kept the clubhouse closed for a little while after yesterday's game as he met with his coaches to discuss the way things have gone. And he hopes that his team will get back on the winning track. Final game of this homestand. The Red Sox have a West Coast trip coming up, so they'd like to leave Fenway on a positive note after the downer of the last 2 games. Kenny Lofton ready to get this one started. First pitch of the afternoon from Hanson is a strike. Lofton's hitting .325, a homer and 5 runs batted in. 79 degrees at game time. 0-2 the count. Just a few white puffy clouds overhead, and the breeze blowing across the field from right to left should help any ball hit in the air to left field. Down to first, backhanded by Vaughn. He flips to Hanson, safe at first. Lofton might be the fastest runner in the league, and he turned a rather routine ground ball down to first into a base hit.
It was a simple case of Lofton outrunning Hanson to the bag. Hanson will get the ball in plenty of time, but he had already slowed down. See right there, was under a full head of steam, assuming that it was going to be a routine play, and Lofton did not allow it to be a routine play. Boy, when you have an opportunity to keep him off the bases, you really have to take it. He's been on there a lot lately.
He sure has. Omar Vizquel, the batter. Hitting .202. He's driven in 6 runs. Had a big RBI in the come-from-behind win on Friday night. And has had a productive series. 5 for 12 in the 3 games. Red Sox won the first game of the series. Cleveland has come from behind late in each of the last 2. 1 ball and 1 strike now on Vizquel. He came into the series, the Friday night's game, 2 for his last 21. All of a sudden has hit in 4 straight. And is 8 for his last 17. Lofton runs. The pitch a ball. The throw is high and into center field. Backed up by Mayhay. His throw to third is not in time. Naring trying to bluff Lofton, but he didn't go for the fake. Got up as if he might head toward home, but never did leave the bag. It's a stolen base, the 4th of the season for Lofton, and an error on McFarland allows him to go to third.
Looks like McFarland's going to have a shot at Lofton here. If that throw had been down, there's a good chance he would have been thrown out. Instead, McFarland's throw airmails the middle infielders, and quickly Lofton up and on to third. Stolen base and an error charged to McFarland.
Second error of the year committed by the Red Sox catcher. A ground ball to first for a hit, a stolen base, and an error. And Lofton is at third with nobody out, and the 3-1 to Vizquel is lined to right. Witten has no chance to get Lofton. He trots home with the first run of the ball game, and the Indians lead 1-0. 7th RBI of the season and second in this series for Omar Vizquel.
Same thing that happened on Friday night. Lofton wound up at third in a different manner on Fridays. He opened the game with a triple, but just about the same results. He scores, makes it 1-0. There's the throw by McFarland. It was going to be a close play at second. Certainly he was going to have a shot at it, but the throw was just too high. And don't take for granted that Mayhew does not have a good arm. He does. A very good arm. Nearing almost tricked Lofton.
Carlos Baerga is the batter. He's hitting .384. He's the 4th leading hitter in the league.
Cleveland lineup, a very aggressive lineup, as we have seen in the last couple of years, really, and may make them a little more vulnerable to the back and forth style of pitching that Hanson has used so far this year. He's had the right amount of speed, and the location have been almost perfect for the tall right-hander.
Baerga lines one to right. Witten has it go off his glove and over the fence. A home run for Baerga on a ball that hit Witten in the glove and caromed over the wall into the Red Sox bullpen. And the Indians lead 2-0. And this very easily could have been a 1-2-3 inning for Hanson. Instead, 2 runs are in with only 1 out.
As a matter of fact, should have been a 1-2-3 inning for Hanson. Ball is well hit, but then misplayed by Witten. He breaks in and then has to retrace his steps, and in doing so can't quite get to it. It's off the glove. That ball had to go, what, another 25, 30 feet in the air?
That was not going to go over the wall. And he just missed it completely. It was on its way down. When it hit his glove, it sent it back up and over and out. And 2-0 Cleveland. Baerga's 4th home run of the season.
6th home run in this series. Actually, he might count more than that. Bell's home run yesterday really should count for 2.
And Albert's at the plate with a count of 2-0. Bell's hitting .321. 5 homers and 19 runs batted in. Well, the Red Sox are really right where they want to be. They've demonstrated the last 2 days they don't want to be ahead of this Cleveland team. And you watch Cleveland draft by them in the final turn. What a bizarre start. They couldn't execute on the routine ground ball down to first. Hanson couldn't get over there ahead of Lofton. And then Witten should have caught the ball. Not only did he fail to catch it, he turned it into a home run. So the scouting report that we had heard about Witten, we saw it when he played the American League as well, was that he has a great arm, as good as anybody in baseball, but has trouble from time to time judging the ball, and I think that scouting report was right on the money.
Right on the money. A little problem Friday night on a pop-up in the shallow right field they didn't get to.
Bell strikes out. And he didn't like the called 3rd strike by Larry McCoy. 2 outs in the first. That's the first strikeout for Erik Hanson, who's coming off a 10 strikeout game and that shutout of Milwaukee Tuesday night.
28 strikeout on the year now for the Boston right-hander. He's in 4th place in the American League. Trailing Apier, who has 46. Randy Johnson with 39 pitching today. So he's among some strikeout kings, artists in that group.
In his last 3 starts combined, Hanson has struck out 20 without issuing a walk. He has not issued a walk since his first appearance of the year on the 29th of April against Chicago when he walked 2. Eddie Murray is the batter. He's DHing today, hitting .375, 5 homers and 19 runs batted in. He's 5th in the league in hitting, right behind his teammate Baerga. That's the good changeup that he had working for him Tuesday night in Milwaukee.
Almost seemed against the Brewers in some instances he was just toying with some of the hitters in that lineup.
Lazy fly to center for Mayhay, and he makes the catch. Ball moved around a bit by the breeze. Weird first inning, and Cleveland takes advantage of it by scoring a couple of runs. And you'll go a long time without seeing a play like that again. After a half inning, Cleveland 2 and Boston nothing.
Had they only sampled its precise handling, they might have named it Import Car of the Day. Had they just heard its quiet cabin, they might have named it Import Car of the Week. And had they merely felt its powerful engine, they might have named it Import Car of the Month. But they experienced all of the Nissan Maxima and named it Motor Trend's Import Car of the Year. Lease a new Nissan Maxima GXE, $299 a month for 36 months with only $1,500 down.
Nobody does it like you, the way that you do. Nobody's got the power to please me.
The Hoover Power Drive Cleaner. It's self-propelled, forward and back, with reversible drive wheels and fingertip control. The self-propelled Hoover Power Drive. It makes the cleaning so effortless, you might say it's child's play.
Hoover, nobody does it like you.
For the Red Sox this afternoon, Terry Shumpert leads off and plays second base. John Valentin is the shortstop. Mo Vaughn is the first baseman. The cleanup hitter, the catcher, Mike McFarland. Mike Greenwell is batting fifth today and playing left field. The third baseman, Tim Naring, hits sixth. Batting seventh in right field, Mark Whitten. Bill Hasselman is the DH. At batting ninth, making his first major league appearance, the center fielder, Ron Mayhay, against veteran left-hander Harry Ralston Black Jr., better known as Bud Black.
Better known as Bud Black. He returns to the American League with the team that he left back in 1990, making his second American League start since the 1990 season. In his previous outing for the Indians, a total of 2 2/3 innings, Bud was touched up for 3 earned runs on 7 hits. He walked 1 and struck out 1. No longer a hard thrower. He used to have a fairly firm fastball. Now he really relies on finesse. A lot of injuries throughout his career, knees, elbows, and shoulders.
Indians fourth best in the league on defense at the moment, behind Milwaukee, New York, and Toronto. This afternoon they have Albert Bell in left, Kenny Lofton in center, Manny Ramirez in right, Jim Thome at third, Omar Vizquel at short, Carlos Baerga at second, Paul Sorrento at first, and Tony Pena behind the plate.
Terry Shumpert.
Red Sox trail 2-0 as they come up for the first time. During the break between innings, Mark Whitten explaining apparently what happened when that ball hit by Baerga that hit him in the glove and then popped up in the air and went over the fence. Shumpert appearing in his 6th game. He's been up 7 times without a hit. Luis Alicea has the day off. Alicea snapped an 0 for 11 skid with a hit yesterday.
Kevin Kennedy said he wanted to see a little bit of Shumpert here. He certainly has not been displeased with Alicea in the field, because if you made a judgment on that, you would think he would be one of the hottest hitters in the league. He has not carried his offensive problems with him in the field in the slightest. Well, when you got a bench player, you need to get him in a bat or two here and there.
To short, and Vizquel throws him out. Now John Valentin, who appears to be out of the slump that he was mired in for a while. Yesterday he went 3 for 4 with a double. raising his average back over 300 to 304 with 5 home runs and 15 runs batted in.
Pick and shovel may be of service to Valentin as much as he dug in up there. We have seen some pitchers in the past. Bob Gibson, Don Drysdale, Gaylord Perry. You dig a hole that deep, they put you in it and let you know it's coming.
Strike on the corner, 1-1.
Couple of fastballs from the left-hander. He'll use a cross-seamer. He'll use one that he grips with the seams to turn it away, down and away from a right-hand hitter. A couple of curveballs. He'll have a big breaking one for left-handers, a little sharper one for the right-hand hitters, and a circle changeup.
Three of those 4 hits in the series yesterday. Valentin was 2 for 30 prior to the 3 for 4 yesterday. His elbow had been bothering him. If you were with us on Tuesday night, you saw him get hit by the pitch by Bob Scanlon of the Brewers. Right around the left elbow. That's well hit. And in. Off the wall on a hop. Lofton ran at it as if he was going to catch it rather than backing up on it. He might have had a chance to cut it off and keep it from going to the wall. Once it got by him, no question it was going to be 2 bases. A double for John Valentin, his 7th of the season.
Oh, this ball must have fooled Lofton a little bit because it looked on the crack in the bat. Lofton got a good jump. It looked as if he was going to be able to track it down. Remember, he's a left-hand thrower, so the glove is on the right side for him to stretch out, but for some reason that ball just raced by him. He had to shag it down, and before the Gold Glover could get it back in, Valentin had his 7th double. That leads the Red Sox in that category.
Tying run at the plate. Cleveland leads 2-0 in the bottom of the first. Mo Vaughn, the batter. He's riding an 11-game hit streak. And Black wants to chat with Tony Pena.
One thing that may have prevented Lofton from getting this ball may have curved away from him because of that wind. That wind would actually have been pushing that ball more toward the left field corner. That may have prevented Lofton from getting there, but it looked on the get-go as if he had a good shot at catching it, especially since, as I mentioned, he's a left-hand thrower.
Big crowd here today into the game early as Mo Vaughn represents the tying run. Tough to find an empty seat.
Well, if you like offense, what 2 clubs would you like to see play against
These
each
would be
other?
the 2.
I mean, they come from the on-deck circle swinging. Both these lineups.
These 2 teams rank 2 and 3 in the league in runs scored. Cleveland is 2nd, the Red Sox 3rd. Cleveland has scored 134 runs with their 2 in the first. Red Sox 130. Only Oakland has scored more. The Athletics have scored 137.
Athletics have that guy named Mark McGuire who's on fire again.
He sure is. McGuire's hit in 17 straight games. The 1-1 pitch. High. Pena throws down to second. Valentin's back safely.
Valentin trying to get that little extra jump that you have to get running from second in this ballpark because of the shortness in left field and sometimes to center. And Pena, man, wait a minute, don't get too much on me now. Pena with a very good arm. He likes to throw around. He'll throw it to any base at any time. Really likes to throw behind left-hand batters and try to pick runners off first.
A little bit up and in. Now it's 3-1. All the way to the left. Full count. Mike McFarland is on deck. There's Mike. And that just missed. Black wanted it.
If this pitch is not going to be a strike today, both Black and Hanson are going to be in trouble. You get either one of those two fellows who have to work a little higher in the strike zone, as most pitchers are really, they're going to have some problems, especially Bud Black.
Tying run at first. Go ahead run at the plate. Mike McFarland, the cleanup hitter. Fouled away. The cleanup hitters, as always, are brought to you by Hoover. Nobody gets the dirt like Hoover. Nobody. And McFarland's had a quiet series, with the exception of his game-winning home run on Thursday night in Game 1 of this series off Jim Poole. Albert Bell is 3 for 13 with a couple of homers. McFarland's average with the 1 for 8 in the series has dipped to 218. 6 homers, 15 runs batted in. Rich Rowland was the Red Sox starting catcher yesterday, went 0 for 4. Baerga moved in behind Valentin. Indians lead 2-0. In the bottom of the first, McFarland at the plate with 2 men on and 1 out.
Valentin's doing something I've seen very few Red Sox players do over the years. He is getting the kind of jump that you need to get at second base. Lofton, a lot of outfield assists.
Down the line, double play ball to Tomey. Baerga turns it with ease. 5-4-3, and that ends the inning. And McFarland has come up limping as he went across the bag. After an inning at Fenway, the Indians 2 and the Red Sox nothing.
The Bo Sox, the official booster club of the Boston Red Sox, will once again sponsor 15 youngsters between the ages of 9 and 16 to attend former Red Sox second baseman Mike Andrews' baseball camp for the week of July 16th. The Andrews camp is held at Bentley College. To enter, it's simple. Just write a letter to the Bo Sox Club explaining why you would like to attend the Mike Andrews baseball camp. Send it along to Bo Sox Club Baseball Camp Contest, 4 Yawkey Way, Boston, Massachusetts, 02215. To be eligible, entries must be received no later than June 5th.
Number 25. Third baseman.
McFarland attempt to stay out of that double play, busting it down the line, and just before getting to the bag, the left hamstring area. He'll reach down and grab it about another step and a half, 2 steps right there. So, and he's now behind the plate, stretching it out a little more as he gets set to handle Hanson.
Who is pitching with the Red Sox facing a 2-0 deficit. Jim Tomey, the leadoff batter. He's hitting .314, 4 homers and 12 runs batted in.
Wow. I know he's going to be in trouble if that's not a strike. Everybody's in trouble if that's not a strike, except the hitter.
Probably an example of what we were talking about the other night. The umpire giving up too soon on that big curveball. It looks like it's going to be high. Tomey's hit in 12 straight games. That's the longest streak of his career. He had the big home run yesterday in propelling the Indians to the victory. The Indians scored 4 runs in the 8th yesterday. Hanson's strikeout of Thome, his second.
Right fielder.
The strikeout for Hanson
Number
hasn't been
24.
just on one pitch.
Ramirez.
The number of strikeouts that he has now up near that 30 mark. Sometimes it's the fastball, sometimes it's a curve, and in that instance there, the changeup just kind of floats away from the left-hand hitter. So can't really set on any of his pitches.
Manny Ramirez, red hot, hitting .390, second leading hitter in the league now, behind Mark McLemore of Texas, who's hitting .393. Ramirez has homered in 3 straight games and has hit in 5 in a row at .450. Two balls and 2 strikes on Ramirez. And a breaking ball got him. Back-to-back strikeouts for Hanson here in the second. And that's 3 for Erik in an inning and 2/3.
Number 11.
Okay, it was the off-speed pitch, the fading away changeup that got Thome. This time it's the curveball. Oh, the old knee buckler right there doing the job for Hanson on Ramirez.
Paul Sorrento, the batter. He looked at strike 1. Paul hasn't played much lately. The Indians have been seeing a steady diet of left-handed starters from the opponent. He has hit 6 home runs and only 54 at bats and has driven in 21. He had a 6 RBI game earlier this season. The Indians batting in the second. They lead 2-0. 2 outs and the base is empty. Hanson's right around it, but he's gone to 3 balls and a strike.
He's trying to expand that strike zone, much like Zane Smith did on Friday night, but Larry McCoy is not allowing that to happen as John Hirschbeck did. One thing that makes the off-speed pitch so effective for Hanson, you notice him with his windup and his delivery. Everything gives you the impression of the fastball. There's the good movement, there's the good arm speed, but the pitch doesn't follow what is being delivered to the hitter.
And that's lined toward the gap in right center and into the bullpen. Line drive homer for Sorrento on a 3-2 pitch. Second home run surrendered by Hanson. This one cleared the fence without any help from a Red Sox outfielder. And the Indians lead 3-0.
Hanson didn't get a close call earlier in the count. It cost him. He finally got back even on an off-speed pitch, and then on a 3-2 count, looked like he misses with the fastball in the strike zone, right down the heart of it, trying to get that outside corner. And this ball hit right on top of the railing in the bullpen, bouncing quickly and scattering some Red Sox relievers.
Second home run of the ball game for Cleveland. The Indians lead the league in home runs now. This is their 35th in game number 21 of the season. Ball and a strike on Tony Pena. He's hitting .173, 9 hits in 52 at bats, 8 singles and 1 home run. That home run by Sorrento, his first solo homer of the year. The other 6 had all come with men on base.
Thinking that second cleanup spot, number 8, is kind of nice for Sorrento. Sometimes you bat 8, they kind of forget about you.
Pena off the glove of Shumpert, a base hit. Imagine how much tougher this lineup will be when Sandy Alomar comes back in June. He'll be the number 9 hitter.
These Cleveland batters, as we mentioned, very aggressive. They're taking some pretty good swipes at Erik Hanson right now. The fastballs that he is throwing, they are right on them. I don't know that they've missed a fastball.
I wonder if a little something came out of Erik with all those pitches he threw the other night. 140 of them in Milwaukee with a rested bullpen. And the Red Sox seemingly comfortably in front, although the way the bullpen has gone the last couple of days, no lead seems safe. But we're talking about a much different hitting club in Cleveland as compared to Milwaukee.
Sean, even though a lot of the 140 pitches were not stress kind of pitches, he's not a power guy, it's still 140 pitches out of that arm nonetheless. Something else that has an effect there too. You throw that many pitches and that'll shake some people around in the Cleveland dugout.
And it's got Sorrento, the home run, almost his last act. By Erga.
Pay attention, man.
Lofton chopped it down to first. Vaughn makes the play himself, and that ends the inning. The Indians add a run on the home run by Paul Sorrento. And after an inning and a half, Cleveland leads 3-0. Friends, this copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Boston Red Sox and UPN 38. It's intended solely for the private, non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or the use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the Boston Red Sox and UPN 38 is prohibited. Red Sox trying to avoid their 3rd straight loss to Cleveland in this series. Trail 3-0 as they bat in the second. Mike Greenwell leads off with a base hit. And Mike's hot. Run 3 for 4 yesterday and drove in 3 runs, his first 3 RBI game of the season. And he has a single on the first pitch to him this afternoon.
All 3 combinations for Greenwell against Black and the Indians have worked well over his career. Greenwell now 6 for 16 against Black, and one of Greenwell's highest batting averages against an opponent, 326 coming in against Cleveland today.
Tim Naring batting .333, a homer and 11 runs batted in. Tim went 0 for 4 yesterday. That ended in a 4-game hitting streak. He's never faced Bud Black.
Tim not one to go against not hitting the ball to the right side. They got a gaping hole. They're really playing him in the Cleveland infield like a strong pull hitter. Bieger almost hit the bag at second. Not that far from it. Then they pitch him outside. Give him a chance to do just that.
And again outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The Red Sox at 14-7 coming into this ball game after losing the last 2. Still in first place in the American League East by 2.5 games over New York. hit just past the dive of Thome. So the Red Sox bring the tying run to the plate with nobody out in the second. Back-to-back singles by Greenwell and Nehring.
Even though they've got the shift on Nehring, this ball will be hit so hard that Jim Thome at third will not be able to react and get to it. Black got behind in the count, had to get into a good part of the strike zone, and Nehring, as he has done so well lately, has not missed his pitch.
Now Mark Whitten. The Red Sox certainly need him to start producing with men on base. He's hitting 173, 1 homer, 3 runs batted in. Ball 1, well outside. Whitten is 0 for his last 12. Down the left field line, foul.
Point you make, Sean, a very strong one with Canseco out of the lineup, especially playing in Fenway Park. Mark Whitten is really needs to step up and pick some of that load up himself. He just has not gotten on track at all, and that number right there will tell you.
You can't have that from any hitter in your lineup, but particularly not from the guy you expect to bat in the middle of the order and drive in a lot of runs. All the men the Red Sox have had on base this year, for Whitten to have only 3 runs batted in at this juncture, that's tough to do. And he hits a perfect double play ball. And they turn it. 6-4-3, Vizquel, Baerga, and Sereno. Second double play bounced into by the Red Sox in as many innings. And now a runner at third with 2 outs.
The designated hitter, number 37, Bill Hanson.
Bill Hasselman DHing today, hitting .267. Still looking for his first Red Sox homer and RBI. Ball 1 just missed. Hasselman has been up 15 times with 4 hits, all of them singles. Bud Black got the call that time, 1-1. This is the first at bat ever for Hasselman against Bud Black.
Pitchers usually are not wrong about guys who they think have hit home runs off them. I was talking to Bud Black this morning, and he says, this guy Hasselman, he says, he hit a home run off me one time. And I said, yeah, are you sure? I said, I don't think he was around in the league when you were over here before. He says, well, I'm pretty sure. So maybe Hasselman has a bit of an edge.
Check swing at a ball in the dirt. No swing, says Rick Reed. Well, must have been in a spring training game, because at least according to the information published by the Red Sox, these two have never met.
No, and that would be correct. I checked with Hanson about it. He didn't come into this league until 1992, latter part of 1991, and Black's been out of this league, as I mentioned, since the end of the 1990 season. So in this instance, the pitcher was wrong. But usually pitchers remember guys who hit home runs off of them, other than the home run hitting guys. You think guys like Murray and Bell, they don't remember all those home runs.
Little bleeder, and it falls for a hit. Hasselman has his first Red Sox RBI as Greenwell scored from third. And the Red Sox are on the board. It's 3-1.
Well, a little shy of the home run. As a matter of fact, it wasn't even a home run kind of swing. Hasselman gets tied up just a little bit on that slider that's running toward his hands, but he gets the job done as he kind of humpback liners it out into shallow center field, and Greenwell on from third to score.
First major league at bat now for Ron Mayhay. He took a ball. Mayhay was called up from Double-A Trenton on Friday when Lee Tinsley went on the disabled list. Spent some time this year at Pawtucket and Trenton. And he wouldn't have been the man called up, but they needed a center fielder. Glenn Murray, injured at Pawtucket, was the likeliest guy, but he had a wrist injury. So they went down to Trenton and called up Mayhay. Wow.
Well, okay, let's flip a coin now.
Looks like it's going to be another one of those afternoons when one time a pitch in one spot is a ball, and the next time it's in the exact same spot, it's a strike. Hasselman runs. Mayhay with a fair ball. Hasselman coming into third. He will be waved to the plate. Baerga with the relay, not in time. Mayhay might have a few more friends in the home team dugout now. His double has made it a one-run game.
After Kevin Kennedy saw Mayhay play a little bit in spring training, he said quickly, I think this guy could have played on my ball club last year in Texas. Has him in the lineup today. He said, I was impressed with the way he handled some of the left-handers he faced during spring training. Hung on to them, didn't bail out, and he gets the count his way against Bud Black, the left-hander and the left-hander, and doubles for the RBI.
In his first major league at bat, a double and a run batted in. And Terry Shumpert is at the plate with the tying run in scoring position.
Did they get the ball for him? Did anyone get the ball for him? Sorry I didn't watch it. I was here looking down.
I didn't notice.
I did not notice either. Usually the whole dugout is up and asking for the ball when a teammate gets his first major league hit.
They did get the ball for him, we are told. They went into the dugout. Says our producer director John Wilson. Shumpert bounced out to short beginning the first. From what we can ascertain, you mentioned the conversations have taken place in the Red Sox clubhouse. For the most part, Mayhay's just been given the silent treatment. They haven't been openly nasty or venomous to him, but they also haven't gone out of their way to say anything to him. Just joining us, he wasn't really officially a replacement player. He has been in the Red Sox system, was not a butcher or truck driver signed to be a replacement player. He was in the organization and played in the spring training games, and that caused some animosity between Mayhay and Randy Brown, who was in a similar situation as a shortstop in the Red Sox system, who played in spring training games. There was a meeting in spring training. Apparently it smoothed things over, but then there were remarks made in interviews after those meetings that irritated some of the Red Sox, apparently. And they've gone through the patching it up process again. We saw the shot during our opening. During batting practice, Mayhay pretty much, particularly yesterday, had center field all to himself. Usually the players will scatter throughout the outfield, but he was all alone in center, and you had to go all the way over to straightaway left or right to find anybody else. As Jack Corrigan, the Cleveland announcer, said, they were treating him like he had the Ebola virus. Shumpert with a base hit that will tie the game. Mayhay around to score. Shumpert will stop at second with a double, and we start again, tied at 3. 3 clutch hits in a row with 2 outs by Hasselman, Mayhay, and Shumpert.
So the change in the lineup today for Kevin Kennedy has been a strong one so far. Hasselman getting a hit in his first RBI of the season. Not his first hit, his first RBI. And then Shumpert getting his first hit and his first RBI on that double down the right field corner as he trades places with Ron Mayhay, and he has been greeted so far by the pitching staff or the coaching staff, I could say. And there you are, number 39, right there in the top of the line. I don't think you're going to have any problems with this at all.
Well, that's
I certainly
good to
hope
see.
not. There's a lot more things to be worried about than being adverse against Ron Mahay in any way.
Well, he was impressive in spring training.
He was indeed.
And they're about the business of trying to win games.
That's it.
And if he can help them win games, then this distraction ought to go away, and he should be treated just like any other member of this team. The fact is, and we've talked about it a lot, he's a guy trying to make a living like a lot of other people. The Major League Baseball Players Association has never done anything for minor leaguers.
And probably never will.
And probably never will. So they really have little right to speak up against somebody like him who's trying to do something for himself when their association wouldn't do anything to help a guy like him in his situation.
Good luck to him.
John Valentin, the batter, with the go-ahead run. At second, Valentin doubled into left center in the first off his 3-hit game yesterday. Talked with John before the game today, and I told him we were in Detroit. Don't let that leg get better. Remember the muscle pull? And I saw him in the clubhouse today. He said, "You were right. I should have. My leg got healthy, and I couldn't hit."
I told him that about 4 or 5 days ago.
Whoa!
Oh, look out on
to
that
get hit
elbow.
on that elbow again. That's still sore.
Valentin doing a pretty good job of getting out of the way of this, but looked like it had him nailed dead to right. And notice how protective he is of that elbow. He made sure he got that out of there as quickly as he could, just barely in time.
Off-speed pitch fouled away to the right into the roof boxes, and they dropped it down below. Well, you just don't want to be ahead in this series unless it's the 9th inning.
Doesn't seem like it's the thing to do, does it?
The bottom of the 9th. Indians led 3-0, but the Red Sox have tied it with 3 here in the second with 2 outs. And the only man retired was Witten, who bounced into double play. The Red Sox have had 5 hits in the inning. 3 singles, 2 doubles. Two and 2 on Valentin. Well hit in center field. Lofton looking up, and it's off the wall. Shumpert in to score. Valentin in a second. Safe just ahead of the tag. And the Red Sox lead 4-3 on the second double of the afternoon by John Valentin.
Three straight doubles off Bud Black have given the Red Sox the lead in this game. John really had to reach for this ball, and he gets a lot of help from a very strong wind. Lofton quickly going back. Now he knows he can't get there. He'll quickly turn, and watch the quickness here. He gets that ball in unbelievably quick. Valentin just safe. Shumpert's run was going to count. You could see in the background he had already crossed the plate, taking nothing for granted.
The 8th double of the season. Second in the game. Now move on. Oh boy, strike on a borderline pitch at best. And Mo didn't like it. Mo walked in the first when he benefited from a borderline call and a 3-2 pitch. Red Sox have 6 hits in the inning. 3 straight singles, then 3 doubles. Only the double play grounder by Witten mixed in. Thome on the run. That ends the inning, but the Red Sox get 4 in the second. And these two teams continue to slug at each other in this highly charged offensive series, and it's an at-bat Ron Mahay will never forget. And probably every bit as important to him as the hit was this greeting when he got to the dugout. Red Sox lead 4-3. Back to Fenway in a moment. In the American League East by 2.5 games. Toronto is 4.5 out. In the American League Central, Cleveland with the best record in the American League at 14-6 leads Milwaukee by 4. Kansas City by 5.5. And out west, it's California, winners of 3 in a row with a 2-game lead over Seattle and Oakland. Texas is 2.5 back. In the National League East, the Phillies have the best record in baseball at 16-6. Atlanta has won 3 in a row. Florida has lost 4 straight. They are 5-17. NL Central, Chicago leads Houston by 2.5 and Cincinnati by 3. The Reds have won 3 straight. And in the National League West, Colorado still in first, but their lead has dwindled to a half game over San Francisco. And the Dodgers have lost 5 in a row. Wes Chamberlain has come into the game to play right field. Mark Whitten might have aggravated that leg injury running down the line on the double play that he hit into. Chamberlain now in right. Red Sox now lead 4-3 as Erik Hanson works to Omar Vizquel to begin the third. And that's sinking fast in center for a hit. Vizquel had a sacrifice fly in the first, and now he has a hit, his 6th of the series.
Number 9, second baseman.
And the 5th hit today for Cleveland. Erik Hanson certainly has not been as sharp as he has been in his 3 victories. Certainly, he could be pitching with a 4-1 lead right now. The Red Sox executed a few plays in the field in the first, including this play when Baerga came up in the first and hit a long fly to right that hit Whitten in the glove, and he knocked it up into the air and over the fence for a home run on a ball that could have and probably should have been caught. It was Baerga's 4th homer of the year. Let's pause for station identification. This is the TV 38 Red Sox Network.
This is TV 38, WSBK, Boston.
Sean McDonough with Bob Montgomery, our producer-director John Wilson. Happy to have you with us on this glorious Sunday afternoon at Fenway. Great day to be at the ballpark, and certainly we're happy for all of the young men and women, and some older men and women who are graduating from colleges and universities around the area, high schools. This weekend, we couldn't ask for a better couple of days.
May get a little uncomfortable under that gown, though, on a day like today. What was it, 79 degrees at game time? But oh, think of the comfort they'll have of not having to go back to class anymore.
Vizquel runs, the pitch is strike, the throw, and he is out by a mile. And looking back at the plate, wondering if it was a hit and run. Baerga dejectedly turned away after looking down at the third base coach, Jeff Newman. That probably was a hit and run.
Well, if it is, it's kind of a strange thing to have your guy like Baerga to get involved in any kind of a hit and run play. Here's a guy who has the power to hit it out of a ballpark. You want him to get his own pitch, but you could see clearly that Vizquel was not in any kind of a base stealing mode. He was just really taking his lead and going about his business as if it were a hit and run.
And you've just seen the first strikeout of the season by Carlos Baerga. In his 88th at bat of the year, he strikes out for the first time.
Number 8.
He may have been a little bit out of frustration after missing the sign or something. He didn't have a very good swing at this off-speed pitch from Hanson. Ball floating down and away from him.
Now Albert Bell was struck out, looking in the first. One ball and one strike. Red Sox lead 4-3. Indians batting in the third. And a base hit. The hits just keep on coming here at Fenway. That's the 6th for Cleveland. The Red Sox have 7. Red Sox have only been up twice. And the Indians are batting in the third.
Number
McFarland set up
33.
low and outside. You can see the pitch
Eddie Murray.
from Hanson. And a lot of times we talk about pitchers being wild in the strike zone, and I think that's the case a little bit with Hanson today. He has not gotten the ball where he is wanted to wind up with it. Low and outside for the target, and that ball right down the middle of the plate for Bell.
Murray out in front of the changeup. Eddie fly to center, ending the first. He's still 40 hits away from becoming the 20th member of baseball's 3,000 hit club. And a nasty pitch had Murray backing out of the batter's box. 0-2. Eddie came to town riding a 10-game hitting streak, but that was snapped Thursday, and he's only had one hit in this series. Defensive swing and a foul ball. With 2,960 hits, Murray is 22nd all-time on baseball's hit list. Needs 4 to catch Sam Crawford in 21st place. And Murray has 463 lifetime homers, tied with his teammate Dave Winfield for 18th all-time. Well, now he needs 39 hits for 3,000. Mayhay cuts it off. Bell to third on the play. It's a long single to left center for Eddie Murray. And the Indians are trying to put something together with 2 outs. Runners at first and third. They trail 4-3 in the third.
Having a tough time picking out some of the pitchers' pitch selections here. Here was a great curveball we saw Murray just get completely fooled on, and did not see another curveball in the sequence. Missed with a foul, or actually fouled a fastball off, and then there's another fastball to follow it up with. I sometimes wonder if you realize how you got to the 1-2 with the 0-2 count.
Comey took a breaking ball for a strike. He struck out swinging in the second.
Hanson's curveball today, the one he has thrown, you cannot do anything but hit it in the ground. It's already going down. If you hit it, very difficult to get underneath.
Already 60 pitches for Erik. Only in the third. He threw 140 while shutting out the Brewers Tuesday night.
I mentioned many times how effective the good overhand curveball from the right-hander can be against left-hand batters. Remember, years past, you saw Greg Harris work so effectively that way until he really kind of lost his curveball. What it does to any hitter, left-hand or right-hand hitter, it changes the eye level of the hitter so quickly. They originally see the ball coming out of your hand up high, then by the time the ball is broken, they really have to make a big eye-hand coordination switch. It's tough to do.
And Comey strikes out for the second time. That ends the inning. The Indians strand 2. Hanson has fanned 5 already. After 2.5 at Fenway, the Red Sox 4 and the Indians 3. Tough to find an empty seat today at Fenway. They had better than 29,000 here yesterday, and more than that certainly here today. Bleachers all filled to capacity, as are the right field grandstand seats.
Something going on here between the umpires, Jim Evan and Larry McCoy down at third baseline. Kevin Kennedy spent almost the entire period between innings here talking with plate umpire Larry McCoy, who had his lineup cards out. I don't know what that could have been about. There was a straight up switch for Chamberlain and Witten. I don't know if it had been a batting out of order, something that would have been taken care of at under different circumstances.
Mike McFarland drives the first pitch of the third to left and off the wall on a short hop. And he's still not running all that well. Appeared to injure his leg in the first inning on the double play grounder, and he was hobbling running around first. Witten, the report from the Red Sox clubhouse is, left with a aggravation of that hamstring injury that had him on the shelf for a while. And I think the Red Sox, Kevin Kennedy and the trainer Jim Rowe might want to take a longer look at McFarland here. He was definitely limping going around first.
He's one of the bats you don't want to lose out of your lineup right now with Canseco out of there, and they could be in danger of losing him for a while. He definitely was limping around the bag.
Greenwell, first ball swinging, a little pop-up. Tomey can't get it. Nearly went down the stairs. Indians coaching staff prevented that. The ball hit off the top of the dugout, kicked up into the box seats. Greenwell single to left on the first pitch he saw last inning. Red Sox now have 8 hits. They're leading 4-3 as they bat in the third. And bullpen action has begun for Cleveland. McFarland back to first. Even that step was taken rather gingerly. Jason Grimsley, the right-hander who pitched here on Friday night, is warming up. Oh, 2 now on Greenwell.
It'd be easy to blame all these leg injuries on the shortened spring training that Canseco said earlier in the year. It's not so much the shortened spring training, it's the fact that we had such a long time off. Well, what I think it is that many players didn't do anything during that off season at all, maybe not expecting things to be settled.
Pitch in the dirt, gets by Pena, and McFarland scurries down to second.
Something that doesn't happen very often, as we were talking about on Friday night, Pena letting a ball get by him, but you see there, no attempt to block the ball, which is that's his catching style, really. He catches so many of those, and trying to catch that one did not get the glove on it. It's up over his shoulder, and McFarland down to second, limping.
Greenwell to deep right field. Ramirez at the wall, home run. First of the season for Mike Greenwell. It comes in his 86th at bat. And the Red Sox now lead 6-3.
Another ball that gets a lot of help from the wind, I think. Mike hit this ball. It seemed to be a bit too high to travel as far as it did. Ramirez keeps tracking. This ball just keeps going and going. Finally disappears into the Red Sox bullpen. And the Red Sox have hit their 29th home run of the season.
And Bud Black will disappear into the Cleveland dugout as Mike Hargrove has put out the call for Jason Grimsley. With the score, the Red Sox 6 and the Indians 3. Back to Fenway Park in a moment. This call to the bullpen is brought to you by AT&T. For the life of your business, Jason Grimsley is on in relief and ready to go to work. His first pitch to Tim Naring is a ball high.
Second appearance in this series, and a wobbly appearance for him on Friday night. No decisions as of yet in this 95 season. He threw it all over the place, walking 3 in that ball game on Friday, striking out 1. He wasn't charged with any runs.
You can see that control trouble has been a season-long problem. 13 walks in 13 innings. Bud Black pitched 2 wobbly innings today himself. With 6 runs on 9 hits, including the Greenwell homer. Walked 1 without recording a strikeout, and he threw a wild pitch. Naring single to left off Black in the second. Still nobody out. McFarland started the inning with a single. Greenwell homered him in. And undoubtedly Greenwell is breathing a sigh of relief. That has to wear on you when you've gone this deep into the season without a homer. Naring a pretty well hit ball in right center, and they drop it. Ramirez and Lofton looking at each other, and it fell in between the two of them.
Usually your center fielder is the take charge guy, but right away Lofton was looking for Ramirez to come and get this ball. Even up to the last second where Lofton had just pulled out of the plate. You'll see him point right there. Ramirez, it's yours. Well, Ramirez couldn't hear the pointing, I'm sure. I don't know if there's any yelling going on there. But this is a ball that clearly Lofton could have taken charge and handled, or Ramirez. Either one of them could have handled it. Ramirez, though, I'm sure, as I stated, let the take charge guy take it.
Well, Naring
Glover didn't want it.
It's been scored a double. And now Chamberlain up for the first time. He came in when Witten left after grounding into a double play, aggravating his hamstring injury. Wes hitting it even .300. He's 3 for 10 with a homer and 1 run batted in. Red Sox with 10 hits already. Still not an out in the third. Sweeping breaking ball swung at and missed. 0-2.
So while we've done some strange games as partners, certainly that 17-11 Chicago White Sox game and Red Sox game early in the year, one of those. This has been a strange series. Remember the inning on Friday night? Indians led with a double, had 3 hits in the inning, did not score. Ball hit off the 420-foot mark for a single. Ball hits Witten's glove, goes out of the park for a home run. Gold Glove center fielder doesn't want to handle a fly ball. It's been a strange series.
It has been, and really the Indians very fortunate, given the way they played, to have won the last 2 days. Their bats will cover up a lot of mistakes. They certainly have the personnel that they should be a good fielding team, despite the way they played this weekend. They are still 4th in the American League in team fielding, but they've had Mike Hargrove wearing that expression and expressions similar to it throughout the weekend. The 1-2 to Wes Chamberlain. Second out. Steady diet of breaking balls to Wes. That's the first strikeout recorded by a Cleveland pitcher today.
Designated hitter, number
It was a
37.
steady diet of breaking balls indeed. They kept getting a little sharper, a little tighter, and finally this one doing the honors to keep the base advancement to 0. Naring still at second.
Bill Hasselman dumped a single into shallow center to drive in his first Red Sox run. The last inning, he came around to score. Hasselman DHing today. And another breaking ball for a strike from Grimsley. He's already demonstrated much better control than he had in his outing here on Friday night. Ron Mayhay is on deck. Look out. They hit him on the back of the helmet.
Back of the helmet. Breaking ball out of the hand of Grimsley a little too quick.
Since we said he had better control than he had on Friday night, he threw one nowhere near the strike zone.
Number 46.
This is one of those pitches kind of chase. You see Hasselman turn to get out of the way, and it just punched him right on the back of the helmet. Actually, may have even kind of grazed off the helmet. I don't think it was even a direct hit. Scary nonetheless.
And already a crowd favorite is Ron Mayhay. Got a warm round of applause as he was introduced for this at bat. He took a strike in his first big league at bat. Last inning, Mayhay lined a double down the right field line to drive in a run, and he scored the tying run. Red Sox came from 3-0 down. Scored 4 runs last inning and take a 4-3 lead. They've added 2 more here in the third on the Greenwell homer. And Boston leads 6-3. Vizquel moved in behind Naring, who went diving head first back into the bag. Red Sox have 6 runs on 10 hits. They've made an error. Cleveland 3 runs on 7 hits. Mayhay sliced it out of play to the left.
Mayhay's never had a lot of power. As Sean mentioned earlier, he came up through the Red Sox organization starting back in 1991. 11 home runs in his professional career.
And the runners move up as the ball got away from Pena. Went toward the Red Sox on deck circle. And now there are 2 men in scoring position for Mayhay.
In order for a catcher to stop this ball, it's way short out in front of the plate. The ball just almost has to catch the catcher. The ball has such a big bounce on it, you don't have much of a chance of doing anything other than having it bouncing off of you somewhere. You can't stay square enough to it. That's what creates that bad angle and has the ball go toward the on-deck circle, and the runners do move up. And Mayhay's got a real chance here to star in his first game.
The 1-2. He struck him out with the breaking ball. 2 strikeouts for Grimsley.
Good, hard, tight breaking ball this time. The one the left-hander looks so inviting right there. And then by the time they make the move to pull the trigger, the ball is darted low and underneath their swing. Even though he's hit a batter, it's been a turnaround outing for Grimsley.
Shumpert delivered a big 2-out double last inning to drive in a run. He scored what was the go-ahead run, the run that made it 4-3. Red Sox lead 6-3 in the 3rd. Slow-moving ball game. It's taken an hour and 20 minutes to this point. With 17 hits on the board in 3 innings, it's not difficult to understand why.
Well, this was something that hurt the Red Sox on Friday night's game, obviously, when they left so many people on base in scoring position. Had the runners there at 2nd and 3rd and less than 2 outs. Now it's up to Shumpert to do something with the 2 outs.
Already today, the Red Sox had double plays in the first 2 innings that prevented them from having even more than the 6 runs on the board that they have right now. Two balls a strike on Shumpert. Runners at 2nd and 3rd with 2 outs. Naring is at 3rd and Hasselman at 2nd. Grimsley's a new man this afternoon. Struck out the side with the double that should have been caught, and the hit batter mixed in. But the Red Sox get 2 on the Greenwell homer, and after 3, it's Boston 6 and Cleveland 3. Red Sox have come from 3-0 down to take a 6-3 lead into the 4th inning. Erik Hanson will face the bottom 3rd of the Cleveland order in the 4th. Manny Ramirez, Paul Sorrento, and Tony Pena. Hanson hasn't been as sharp as he was in his first 4 outings. 2 runs scored by Cleveland in the 1st. One of those, the bizarre home run that hit Whitten's glove and popped over the fence. The home run for Baerga. Hughes shot to 2nd. Shumpert throws out Ramirez. Red Sox with an off day tomorrow. Then they head west for the first of 2 West Coast trips this season. This road trip will begin in Seattle Tuesday night. Nesson will have all 3 games from the Emerald City for you. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And we are next with you on Friday when the road trip moves to Anaheim. And isn't Marcel Latchman doing a terrific job with that California team? You'd be hard-pressed to name 5 guys who play for California. But they're 14-9. They've won 3 in a row, and they're doing it with pitching. They have the best staff ERA in the American League at 3.61.
A couple of those guys that keep talking about maybe getting rid of. Finley, the #1 guy that they talk about getting rid of all the time. Their organization perhaps in need of some younger players once again. J.T. Snow has started to develop in the kind of player that they thought he was going to be when they traded for him from the New York Yankees. But you're right, you have to give Latchman a lot of credit. Tell you, the last couple of years, there's been a couple of soft spots. You go on that West Coast trip, you figured if you were playing well at all, you could not necessarily dominate Oakland and California, but certainly would win the edge when playing those two teams. And both those clubs, certainly the Angels, as you mentioned, playing well. And the Emerald City, as you call Seattle, is loaded up with a few diamonds on their team. In Griffey Jr. Mentioned Randy Johnson is pitching today, so the Red Sox will probably be happy to see that.
They'll miss him. And there's a rare walk thrown by Hanson. He had not issued a walk since his first outing of the year on April 29th against Chicago.
Number 17, Tony Pena.
An awkward-looking throw that time from Hanson, too, as if he kind of game all out of sorts. That'll usually lead to a lot of success, though, when you don't put many people on base. Everything just flew out of there way too quick for Hanson, and consequently was way high and outside.
His first walk in 24 innings. Went to Sorrento. Now Tony Pena is the batter. Tony singled to center in the second. Red Sox will not face Randy Johnson. They will face Chris Bosio on Tuesday. Mike McFarland out to the mound. They'll be joined by pitching coach John Cumberland. Aaron Seeley and Chris Bosio on Tuesday. Zane Smith and Tim Davis on Wednesday. Vaughn Eshelman and Tim Belcher on Thursday.
I recall the Cleveland general manager John Hart talking about the scheduling earlier in the year. We're talking about the West Coast trips, and he had a complaint about the fact that the Chicago White Sox, because of the late start of the season and losing of games, lost about 18 games against the Eastern ball clubs, so they would have played that many more games against the West. And of course, John Hart's ball club figured to be in a race all year long with the White Sox for the lead in the Central Division.
And they still might be, but Chicago is still struggling at 8-13, 6.5 games out.
The way they're playing now, they don't want to go anywhere.
That's right. And I think Peter Gammons made the point well in the Boston Sunday Globe today that the East might not be as strong as people thought it was going to be. Certainly, Toronto doesn't look like it is as strong as it was the 2 years it won the World Championship. The Yankees probably aren't as good as people thought. They had injury problems. That hit Hanson, then hit Valentin's hand, went in a shallow left. Valentin throws to third, off the mark, and everybody's safe. Sorrento at third, Pena at first. They scored a hit for Tony, his second hit of the ball game, and here come the Indians again, the tying run at the plate with 1 out in the 4th.
This ball really smacks off the heel area for the shoe of Hanson. Maybe even up above that. And then Valentin could not stop and change directions quickly enough to get the glove on. It has to go off his hand. His throw to Naring is going to be off the mark and late as Sorrento goes in head first over there. So look out. Here come the Indians again.
Kenny Lofton the batter. Naring in on the grass at third. Red Sox lead 6-3. The Indians have 2 men on with 1 out in the 4th. A strike to Lofton. He had an infield hit on a routine ground to first. He beat Hanson to the bag, stole second, took third on an error by McFarland, and scored the first run of the ball game in the first. He bounced to Mo Vaughn unassisted in the second. There's another beach ball on the field, and that's the reason for the delay. Tim Van Egmond has started warming up in the Boston bullpen. Nice play by Kevin Kennedy on the bouncer into the dugout. Barehanded and flipped it up into the seats. Well, there's no way of knowing. Perhaps Hanson would not have had a very strong outing today regardless of what happened the other night, but you've mentioned it several times today. He certainly seems to be missing the zip that we've seen on the fastball, and that might be a product of those 140 pitches the other night.
Well, as I mentioned, a lot of his throws were not under pressure throws, but they are 140 throws, and it takes strength out of your legs when you are working, and legs are so important to pitchers. We know that for certain.
Down to first. Vaughn juggled, and his only play will be at first. He wanted to go for the double play to end the inning. Would have been tough with Lofton running anyway. He would have had a play at the plate had he decided to go in that direction, as Sereno was off with the crack of the bat, and he doesn't run particularly well. Really, the Red Sox wound up with a bare minimum of what they could have gotten out of this play, which was the out at first.
Would have been difficult indeed, Sean, for them to turn the double play with Lofton running, and Vaughn's attempt to rush to maybe start that double play didn't get quite the firm handle on it.
6th RBI of the year for Lofton. Vizquel popped one into the seats third base side. So it's a 6-4 game. And now Pena is at second. Vizquel drove in a run with a sacrifice fly to right field in the first and had a single to center in the third. A ball and a strike on Vizquel. Four runs, the most that Hanson has given up in an outing as a member of the Red Sox. This is his 5th start. He hadn't given up more than 2 runs in any of his first 4 appearances. And he's up to 82 pitches.
All the players, or I should say with a group of players in the offseason that probably would not have leg problems, though, would be Hanson, because he was recovering from a knee surgery. So he would have had a plan that would have had him working on his legs all along. I'm quite certain. You can notice on some of our close-ups that big brace that you can detect under the left pant leg that he wears to protect that knee.
Vizquel with a base hit. Pena will be waved around. Greenwell's throw is in time. Pena's out at the plate. So the Indians will settle for 1 run in the 4th. Strong throw by Greenwell to cut down Pena and end the inning. After 3.5, 6-4 Red Sox.
For the best news, weather, and sports, tune in every night at 10 for WBZ News 4 on TV 38. Mike Greenwell nailing down a Cleveland Indian runner at the plate, Tony Pena. One thing that helped Greenwell there was the fact that Vizquel hit the ball so hard with Pena running from second, and Larry McCoy had to get close to this play because it was a close one. The left hand almost is on the plate before the tag is applied, but just in the nick of time. Greenwell had 10 outfield assists last year. That's one of the strongest throws we have seen Greenwell make in the last couple of years because of all the injuries he's had, mainly to his elbow.
A lot of times it's kind of a pop fly throw in from left field, but not that time. That was a strong throw, and it had to be. Pena leaving on the crack of the bat with 2 outs. So it's a 6-4 game, 19 hits through 3.5 innings between these two teams. 2 of them belong to the man at the plate, John Valentin, who has 2 doubles. Swings at the first pitch and hit a bounding ball to short. Vizquel throws him out.
Well, there might be a play. We look back in the 8th, 7th, 8th, 9th inning of this ball game, and maybe a big one.
Number 42, first baseman,
Mo Vaughn, the hitter. Up for the third time in 4 innings and trying again to extend his hitting streak to 12 games. Mo walked in the first. Bounced to third in the second. He'll be followed by Mike McFarland. Grimsley missed with a breaking ball. Big swing and a miss. 1-2.
This is the same guy that pitched on Friday. Check his number. He listed at 48 on that start on Friday. Boy, all the world of difference here. Much better, not only much better control, but the pitch selection has been a lot better for Grimsley. He was mostly fastballs on Friday and all over the place. He displayed a sharp breaking ball as he worked on Vaughn there, down and in. A little off-speed pitch to Mo in this sequence so far.
Grimsley's 27 years old, 6'3", 180 pounds, from Cleveland, Texas. Has been in the Philadelphia and Houston organizations prior to coming to Cleveland. 2 balls and 2 strikes now on Mo.
Big shift on for Mo Vaughn here now. Only one player to the left field side of second base, and Jim Thome is now playing shortstop for Mo Vaughn.
Mo could have dropped the bunt on the 2-1 pitch down the third base line. He might have had a double.
Good chance. He got to the corner, maybe 3 with his speed.
Goes against the shift, and unless they have someone in the screen, that shift is not going to work. Vaughn extends his hitting streak to 12 games in style with a home run. His 11th. He's the major league leader in that category, and the Red Sox lead 7-4.
Ted Williams used to defeat the shift by hitting the ball over it, oftentimes through it. There is no defense for this one. You can put any kind of shift on. Ball once again being shot to the opposite field by Vaughn, up into the breeze, and quickly, although it needed no help from the breeze, about 2/3 of the way up that net in left field. Number 11 for the hit dog. Red Sox now with 30 round trippers on the year.
And 2 today. That's the 3rd home run from Mo Vaughn this year into the left field screen. He has 11 to lead the majors by 1 over Matt Williams of San Francisco. Mo leads the American League now by 2 over Mark McGwire. And with the RBI, Vaughn is now tied for the league lead and runs batted in with McGwire, each with 27. Mike McFarland with a count of 2-0. He bounced into a 5-4-3 double play to end the first. He singled in the third and scored on the Greenwell homer. And he chased the pitch way out of the strike zone, and again he's flexing that left leg.
Having hamstring pulls for catchers are particularly tough because they have to get up and down, and there you see where he put the pressure on it and immediately reached down to grab it.
Well, admittedly, Red Sox aren't as deep at catcher today because Hanson is the DH, but with the injuries piling up as they are, why would you run the risk of this guy hurting himself even more when it's obvious several times now that there's something wrong with that left leg? Little lob, shallow right center. McFarland has a hit. Maybe he should hit on one leg all the time. Here comes Kevin Kennedy out of the dugout. Now, if he's just noticing this for the first time, that's hard to believe, too.
Oh, no, I'm sure he's not just noticing now. He's just going to talk to McFarland. What you do here, you don't ask the player about how he feels. You just put a rope around him. Come on back with me, and we'll put somebody else in there. You do have Hanson as your designated hitter, but he is still available to you as a catcher simply by giving up your DH. So it's not a question of him not being there. I mean, you're not down to one catcher.
Mm-hmm.
The
and you
thing
have
you
Rich
run the
Rowland
risk
on
of,
the bench.
Right. Here, you run the risk here of the problem of this being injured may be a lot worse than it is now. I mean, there's no question that there is a hitch in his get-along, and it has been since he grounded into the double play. Also, with one out, he cannot score on a long double.
Greenwell bounces it down to first, and they turn it. 3-6-3. Sorrento to Vizquel, back to Sereno. Third double play turned in 4 innings by the Indians. Red Sox had a run in the 4th on the home run by Mo Vaughn. And after 4, it's Boston 7 and Cleveland 4. Quickly behind 3-0 this afternoon. The Indians scored 2 runs in the 1st, including a home run by Carlos Baerga, added another in the 2nd on a home run by Paul Sorrento. And then the Red Sox scored 4 times in the 2nd. 4 clutch hits in a row with 2 outs. They added 2 in the 3rd on a home run by Mike Greenwell and another in the 4th on a home run by Mo Vaughn. Each team is at 2 homers in the game. And the Red Sox lead 7-4 as we go to the 5th. Carlos Baerga takes a strike from Erik Hanson. The game summary brought to you by your Lincoln Mercury Dealers Association. Baerga hit the home run that hit Witten in the glove in right field and popped up over the fence. And he struck out swinging in the 3rd. Albert Bell on deck, and then Eddie Murray. Hanson needs to get through this inning to qualify for the win, and the way this has gone, and with all those pitches the other night, you'd think with Van Egmond warming up, this could be Erik's last inning.
5 out.
One and 2 on Baerga, who struck out for the first time this season in the 3rd.
When you take a lot of pitches, you're at, as Mickey Tettleton does. He's a good example. You take a lot of pitches, wind up with a lot of base on balls, you wind up with a lot of strikeouts. Well, Baerga, along with his 1 strikeout, has walked just 8 times. So he comes, maybe he's off the team bus swinging when he gets to the park.
Two pitch. Check swinging a foul ball at the plate. Breaking ball just missed. And the count is full.
I don't know if I've ever seen this call, but Baerga is actually out anytime he makes contact. His right foot, because he stands so far front in the batter's box, is out of the batter's box when he's making contact.
How about that?
Tip your hat to Hanson, I suppose, because nobody else has struck him out all year.
That's right. His first strikeout of the season came at his 88th at bat, and now Hanson has struck him out twice in a row.
So there's that fade away change up that gets the. Now watch the right foot. See the line there. See where his foot is? That's out in territory. You must have both feet in the batter's box when making contact with the ball, but obviously Baerga doesn't, although he had no contact that time.
Albert Bell, the batter. Smoke down the left field line, foul.
I was always told when you're calling a game, if a hitter had a swing like that at that pitch and hit it the way Bell did, you come right back with the same pitch right after it, because that's the last place in the world they're looking for it. I don't know if I would try that with Albert Bell, though.
I was going to say, that doesn't sound like that good an idea to me.
I don't know if I would try that with him. I mean, when you stop and think about it, if you just hit one foul like that, you're saying to yourself, well, they're never, ever going to throw that pitch in there again. The time to do that with Bell would be when you had him about 10-1, and you were maybe 4 or 5 outs from the game being over, just to see if it would work with him.
1-2. Bell single to center in the third, was called out on strikes in the first. Hanson has now fanned 6. He's had at least one in every inning except the fourth. We're in the fifth, and the Red Sox lead 7-4. 1 out of the bases empty for Cleveland. Valentin, 2 outs.
The designated hitter, number 33.
94 pitches now for Hanson.
Erik.
And Eggman has just now stopped throwing in the Red Sox bullpen.
Well, you'd like to see Hanson have the easy inning, but you hope it's not an easy inning that might get him run back out there for another inning. That may be asking a little bit too much from Hanson. For any starter who finds himself in the position that Hanson is now, 140 pitches. Last start, 95 pitches now. A lot of throws.
Yes, it is. And that's a good throw. Strike to Eddie Murray. It was 1 for 2. He singled to left center off Hanson in the third. One and 2. Hanson just celebrated his 30th birthday 3 days ago. He's from New Jersey, now makes his home in the Seattle area. 6'6", 210 pounds. And he's just inside to even the count at 2-2. Strong inning first, 1-2-3 inning for Erik Hanson this afternoon. He has struck out 7. Halfway through the ball game, the Red Sox 7, the Indians 4.
The first edition Red Sox Scorebook magazine is now available. Included is a feature on new Red Sox manager Kevin Kennedy, the first of a 4-part retrospective on the 1975 pennant-winning Red Sox, and a poster highlighting Jim Rice and Fred Lynn. To order your copy, send $3 in check to Red Sox Scorebook magazine, 4 Yawkey Way, Boston, Massachusetts, 02215.
Red Sox coming up in the fifth against Jason Grimsley, batting with a 7-4 lead. First pitch of the inning, a fastball high to Tim Neri. My goodness. Our monitor just went out the window.
Boy. I'm glad that tray was there.
I am too. Our monitor is now
history.
There it is.
Okay, now I think that was a breaking ball, but
that was
a little hard to tell. It had to curve to get down there, didn't it?
I'm going to have a tough time watching the replay.
Well, you'll need a long cord on your headset.
That's right. If it didn't hit that tray, the screen was down below, too.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have wanted to have to rely on the screen to catch that thing.
Obviously, that tray was
Can we reel it in? That would be reeling in a big one.
No, I tried that before here when we were down at a lower location. Before they put this up here, a monitor had slipped off the sling and rolled down, and only the coaxial was holding up, which you see there, the video cable. I tried to reel it back in. It came loose and then went tumbling off the screen, and
yeah.
Little bitty pieces when they went to pick it up.
Well, Nearing's aboard on the walk. Normally my blood pressure is back to normal. When you see that thing go, you don't know for sure that it's going to get caught.
If you're not going behind it.
That's right. No, I wasn't going out after it.
No, I'm not meant that. The whole structure's going with it.
Grateful that that tray was there to catch it.
Oh, boy. one of our brand new monitors, too. We worked so hard to get over the
Not
years.
anymore. Wes Chamberlain hits it right through the legs of Tomey. Nearing on to third. Chamberlain on his way to second. He'll retreat back to first. Wes went about halfway to second base before deciding to put the brakes on. It's an error on Tomey, his third of the year. And the first today committed by Cleveland.
Red Sox were about ready to bounce into their fourth double play in this ball game until Tomey had that ball roll the wickets. Nearing over to third as Bell gets it back in. Chamberlain holding it first. Sean told you the third error of the year for Tomey. He had 15 errors last year, but most of his errors have been of the throwing variety in the early stages of his career. Something they've worked on quite a bit. Just didn't get the tailgate down. Kevin Kennedy feeling probably certain he'll need to go to his bullpen today, and with the results that he's been getting from them lately, 3 runs is probably not enough for him right now. He'll take all he can get.
Hanson fouled one back. Bill singled to center to drive in his first run as a member of the Red Sox. He scored in the second. He was hit by a pitch, a breaking ball. It hit him in the back of the helmet from Grimsley in the third. Again today, the Red Sox have had a slew of base runners. Hanson bounced one foul behind Dave Oliver in the third base coach's box. The Red Sox have left 4 men on through the first 4 innings, and they've hit into 3 double plays, and they have 7 runs on the board. That's a lot of runners in 4 innings plus. Still nobody out here in the 5th. Let's pause for station identification. This is the TV 38 Red Sox Network.
This is TV 38, WSBK, Boston.
Sean McDonough, Bob Montgomery, John Wilson, our producer director, one of our 2 monitors, still with us. Here in the bottom of the 5th, that's in the dirt, blocked by Pena. 1-2 on Hanson with Ron Mayhay on deck. To left field, nearing is tagging. Bell makes the catch. Tim's coming to the plate. Bell's throw is offline and cut off. And the Red Sox lead 8-4. Hanson has his second RBI of the ball game. He's still perfect today. And the Red Sox have their largest lead, 4 runs.
Center fielder.
Well, Hanson getting a start today in that DH role. Both times the ball's been in on his hands, once for the hit and now for the fly ball, but he's strong enough to get it out of there. Bell, 8 assists from the outfield last year's throw, will be cut off. Tim Nearing crossing with the 8th Red Sox run.
Ron Mayhay chops one to second slowly. Vizquel tried to turn 2, threw it from midair, but it was hit slowly enough. Chamberlain got on Vizquel quickly enough that Mayhay is safe with 2 outs on the fielder's choice.
Ron runs fairly well. He'll get out of the box a little late here, but the big high chopping ball really doesn't give the Indians middle combination a chance to turn the double play. See Vizquel well off the ground. Obviously couldn't get a lot on the throw with no feet on the ground, and Mayhay stays out of the double play.
He's at first with 2 down in the 5th. Red Sox lead 8-4. They've out-hit Cleveland 12-9. Each team has made an error. Terry Shumpert late on the fastball. He's 1 for 3. Double to right to knock in a run in the second. He scored later in that inning. And Valentin followed his double with 1 of his own.
Mayhay's career high professionally, 3 stolen bases. That was last year at Sarasota when he had 3. And this year already had 3 and split the time between Pawtucket and Trenton. Hay built a little bit like a gazelle, 6'2", 189 pounds he's listed, the Red Sox press guy. Well, he can cover a lot of ground in the outfield.
Shumpert, line drive to left, right at Bell. That ends the inning. The Red Sox get a run without a hit in the 5th. It's an unearned run charged to Grimsley. After 5, the Red Sox 8 and the Indians 4. This scoreboard update is brought to you by Dunkin' Donuts, where it's always worth the trip. Toronto, with a run at the top of the 5th, leads at Detroit 1-0 now in the bottom of the 5th. Al Leiter and Sean Bergman, the starters there. Yankees lead Baltimore 1-0, bottom of the 5th at New York. Sterling Hitchcock against Ben McDonald. California 1 and Chicago 0. Bottom of the 3rd at Chicago. Mike Bilecki against Jason Beret. Seattle and Minnesota are tied at 1. Randy Johnson and Kevin Tapani, the starters. Kansas City leads Oakland 1-0. Mark Gubazar against Steve Ontiveros. And Milwaukee and Texas scoreless after 1 inning. Bob Scanlon against Kenny Rogers. Over in the National League, Philadelphia got 4 in the 1st. Phillies lead the Mets 4-2. Kelly Stinnett, a 2-run homer for the Mets. Atlanta 4 and Florida 1 in the 6th. That's the bottom of the 6th, behind John Smoltz. Colorado 2, Cincinnati 0. Bottom of the 3rd at Riverfront. Montreal and Houston scoreless after 1 inning at Houston. Later on, St. Louis is at San Francisco. Urbani against Mulholland. Chicago's at Los Angeles. Traxel against Valdez. Pittsburgh at San Diego. Nagel and Bennis. And it's an all-new battery for the Red Sox here at Fenway Park. Rich Rowland is catching as Mike McFarland is out of the ball game, as is Erik Hanson, replaced by Tim Van Egmond, whose first pitch is outside to Jim Thome.
Tim had been with this ball club originally when they left spring training, but groin injury sidelined him. Matter of fact, he was penciled in to start a game for them. He gave way, was sent down to Pawtucket. He worked last as a starter for the Paw Sox against Charlotte. That ball game, he picked up the win when he gave up 2 earned runs on 6 hits. 5 innings of work. He worked in yesterday's game, the numbers you saw there on your screen. In the 9th inning, 1 hit in the 1 inning, all zeros across the rest of his line.
Erik Hanson today pitched 5 innings, gave up 4 runs all earned on 9 hits, walked 1, his first walk in 24 innings, and struck out 7. He threw 101 pitches, 62 strikes. And he's in line for the win if the bullpen can save it. But this score and situation, much like it has been the last 2 ball games, and certainly the Red Sox can't feel secure with a 4-run lead. The way this Cleveland team has come back in the late innings, the last 2 games, Cleveland got 6 runs to win it in the 9th on Friday and 4 to win it in the 8th yesterday. Thome, Ramirez, and Sorrento coming up. Van Egmond with a 3-2 pitch. He struck him out. Thome has the hat trick. 0 for 3 with 3 whiffs.
Thome perhaps getting a little anxious here on a 3-2 count. Looked as if he swung at a borderline pitch. May have been too high and outside. Van Egmond gets the break, and the lead man knocked off here in the 6th.
Ramirez looked at ball 1 up and in. He is struck out and bounced to second. Chop foul past the Indians dugout. One and 2. Van Egmon's 25 years old. He turned 26 the last day of this month of May. He lives in Sharpsburg, Georgia. He was a 17th round draft pick in June of 1991 out of Jacksonville State University of Alabama. Naring a long way to his left. Nice play.
It's safe to call that a Hoover type of play, wouldn't you? To his
Yes.
left, cleaning up this play nicely is Tim Naring. Well, started to hug the ground just on the second to last bounce. Over in plenty of time to retire Ramirez.
Red Sox pitchers, Hanson and Van Egmond, have combined to retire the last 5 Cleveland hitters in a row. Paul Sorrento hasn't been retired today. Hit a line drive homer into the Red Sox bullpen in the second, walked and scored in the fourth. 1-1 on Sorrento. Red Sox lead 8-4. Cleveland is batting in the 6th. 2 outs and the base is empty.
Van Egmond trying to clear himself perhaps a little room on that outside corner for that fadeaway pitch again. Looks like a split-fingered fastball that he uses in the off-speed pitch. He has some pretty effective movement to the left-hander, moving down and away from him. My memory is correct. Van Egmond was the scheduled starter on that Chicago White Sox-Red Sox Sunday afternoon game, was it not?
Yes.
And he was scratched with Frankie Rodriguez drawing the start.
Tim pitched well in spring training. I think Kevin Kennedy formed a strong opinion of Tim based on what he saw in the spring, and then the leg injury set him back a little
Number
bit.
17, the catcher, Tony Pena.
The manager hoping that the bullpen will fare better today. Tony Pena, 2 for 2 out of the number 9 hole in the batting order. A couple of singles to center. He was thrown out at the plate, trying to score on a 2-out single to left from second. Hit was by Omar Vizquel, on which Pena tried to score in the fourth. Getting darker here at the ballpark. Clouds moving in overhead, but none of them appear threatening. This game started in brilliant sunshine, but the clouds have taken over.
Moss is starting to grow on me again, too, after all this rain around here. My goodness.
Maybe this is the beginning of spring, about a month late. Pena called out on a pitch in the outside corner. He didn't like it. 2 strikeouts in the inning for Tim Van Egmond. Bottom of the 6th upcoming from Fenway, where the Red Sox lead Cleveland 8-4.
Call your attention to the different starting times as the New England Sports Network will be covering the series in Seattle Tuesday at 10, Wednesday at 10:30, then Thursday afternoon at 3:30. Those times all New England times. We'll be with you again on Friday night from the Big A in Anaheim, and the Red Sox start a 3-game series against the California Angels. A little more normal starting times there. 10 o'clock on both Friday and Saturday nights, and the afternoon game starting at 4 Eastern time here in New England. At Seattle for the first 3 of this road trip, then we are with you for 3 games from Anaheim. Hope you'll join us. The team now is partly owned by
Disney.
Disney. They got the Mighty Ducks Arena across the Catella Avenue from the Big A, and now they got a part of the Angels.
John Valentin begins the 6th. He has doubled twice, has knocked in a run. He's been hit by a pitch. And he's turned toward Pena to shake his head. Grimsley hit him with the first pitch of the inning. John got hit on the left elbow Tuesday night and has been sore since. That one looked like it got a little bit higher.
I think the pitch earlier in this game that was up in this area is what draws the look from Valentin. He's being crowded quite a bit. This time he could not get his arm out of the way enough to keep from being hit, but more of a glancing blow, and he looks as if he's looking at Pena there. Didn't say anything, but the thought process, I think he got the message across.
It was pretty close to the exact same spot where Wegman hit him the other night. Lead man on for the Red Sox. Boston has scored in every inning except the first, when they had 2 men on with 1 out and hit into a double play that ended the inning. They get into 3 double plays. They could be much more comfortably ahead. Mo Vaughn homered into the screen to extend his hitting streak to 12 games. That was in the 4th, a solo homer. Mo walked in the first, bounced to 3rd in the 2nd. They had to shift onto the infield the last time he was up. 3 men on the right side, only Thome, the 3rd baseman, remaining on the left. This time they are pulled around that way, but Vizquel, the shortstop, is not all the way over on the other side of the bag. Two and 0. Rich Rowland is on deck, waiting to bat for the first time. Grimsley's pitched 3 innings in relief of Bud Black, and he's given up 2 runs, 1 of them earned. He's up to 53 pitches. He's been a starter in the past, accustomed to going a number of innings, now working in long relief. Valentin runs, Vaughn fouled it.
So just watching the Red Sox bullpen, Stan Belinda was throwing. I'm sure he was up throwing to see if he possibly is available today. I don't know how long he threw. It didn't seem to be throwing very hard, but he has now sat down. I don't know what the possible results of that could be, but as I mentioned earlier, he does have a slight right hamstring problem, and that is the leg, of course, he pushes off with and may prevent him from working in this game. I'm quite positive that's what he was checking.
The Indians have double-barreled action in their bullpen. The right-hander Julian Tavares and the lefty Jim Poole. Another foul ball. Still 2-2 on Vaughn.
Well, they can't play quite as strong a shift on Vaughn now with a runner at first, obviously, as they did before, but there's still a modified shift on. Vizquel pulled around almost to, oh, I'd say, what, maybe 2.5, 3 steps to the left field side of the bag at second, and Thome a mile off the line at third. It's kind of funny to play a guy to pull and then pitch him away as they did last time up.
Most times today Mo has put the ball in play. It's been to the left. He bounced to the 3rd baseman, Thome, in the 2nd, and homered in the screen straight away left in the 4th. We're in the 6th, and the Red Sox lead 8-4, trying to earn a split of this 4-game series with Cleveland. Valentin back safely on a fairly close play.
If Valentin is running, it would not be an unusual play for Kennedy. He likes to use this sometimes when batters are in the hole, batters that are double play candidates. Start the runner to stay out of that double play.
Valentin runs, nearing strikes out. Pena from his knees, a high throw. Valentin on his way to third. Lofton's throw is high and caught by Grimsley. A great running catch like a wide receiver right in front of the Cleveland dugout that saved a run.
I mentioned Lofton with a lot of outfield assists last year. Really uncorks the throw here. Pena with the left-hand batter up there. Mo, he has to throw it up over him from the knee. Not much of a chance to throw out Valentin. And then Lofton gets to it in a hurry, but right where he should be. Grimsley on the way to back up the play. And a nice running catch indeed. Pena had no chance to throw out Valentin. A lot of airmailing going on around here in this throwing.
Patriots may want to take a look at Grimsley. He's a guy who catch the ball over the middle. Mark Wiley, the pitching coach, on his way to the mound. A strikeout of Vaughn. For the first out of the inning. Stolen base for Valentin, his second of the season. The error by Pena on the throw puts him at third. With one out and Rich Roldan coming to the plate.
A lot of this discussion, of course, has to do with the situation that the Indians find themselves in. A runner at third, less than 2 out. And then they're probably going over a mini scouting report here on Rich Roldan, because this will be the first time he's been up with McFarland out of the game. And as far as the Indians are concerned, every run they give up at this point now is a very big one for them because of their explosive offense.
A couple of positive offensive first today for the Red Sox. Greenwell is first homer of the year. Hasselman his first RBI. Mayhay his first major league hit. And now Roland would like his first hit and RBI of the season. Rich is 0 for 13 this year without a homer or run batted in. He started yesterday and went 0 for 4. Infield in for the Indians. Outfield more or less straight away for Roland. The 1-0 to Rich. 2 balls, no strikes.
Boy, that's the pitch you're looking for as a hitter there. Granted, it is not a strike, but your object when you go to the plate here is to get something up that you can hit into the outfield. That certainly was the pitch there to get the sacrifice job done.
Two balls and a strike. This is probably the last hitter for Grimsley, with the lefty Poole still throwing and Mike Greenwell due up next. Down the line, foul. Making a lot of friends over there today. Giving away all the foul balls to the fans seated along the rail. It's always great to have a front row seat, even better when they're dispensing the souvenirs. Red Sox lead 8-4 in the 6th. Valentin at third with 1 out. Now 2-2 on Roland. He was ahead 2-0. Way outside. Full count.
I wouldn't be surprised to see a breaking ball here. As a matter of fact, Grimsley's had such a good breaking ball today. I think that is the pitch to call.
They did, and Roland fouled it right off the end of the bat to barely hang alive.
You miss with it. You wind up with him at first. The double play is in order, and as a pitcher, you're not thinking this, that if I walk this guy, I'm out of the game anyway, which you're probably going to be with Poole all set. It's just a smart way to work it. The catcher should be thinking along those terms, though.
He struck him out. Back-to-back strikeouts for Grimsley. He has fanned 4 in this outing, and it will be his last batter. Here comes Hargrove with Greenwell due up. He'll summon the left-hander Jim Poole. With the score, the Red Sox 8 and the Indians 4. We'll return to Fenway Park on the TV 38 Red Sox Network right after this. Friends, we hope you'll enter the TV 38 Boston Sunday Globe 7th inning sweepstakes. Choose a Red Sox player whom you think will reach base safely in the 7th inning. You could win a 13-week subscription to the Boston Globe, a pair of tickets to an upcoming Red Sox home game, or our grand prize, a trip for 2 to spring training in Florida. Check out the Boston Sunday Globe's award-winning sports section every Sunday for contest details and official entry form. Or send your name, address, phone number, and player choice to the address on your screen. The Boston Sunday Globe, for more than 2 million people, it's the Sunday paper.
Here's Jim Poole, the new Cleveland Indian pitcher. He was the loser here in Game 1 of this series when he gave up that homer to Mike McFarland in the 8th inning. He's on to do what he does best, face left-hand batters. In his career, they've hit .226 against him. The league is hitting .176 off Poole this year, and left-handers even lower. They're hitting just .154. He has given up 3 home runs, though. One of those, as I mentioned, to McFarland.
Only given up 6 hits in 10 2/3 innings, but 3 of them have been the long ball. Mike Greenwell hit his first home run of the season earlier today in the 3rd against the starter Bud Black. He swings at the first pitch, lazy fly to left. Bell handles it. Red Sox leave Valentin at 3rd. After 6 at Fenway, 8-4 Red Sox. 8-4 Red Sox. Cleveland coming up in the 7th as Tim Van Egmond begins his 2nd inning of relief. He'll face the top of the order. Kenny Lofton stands in. 3 times today he's hit a ground ball down to the first baseman Vaughn. Van Egmond missed inside. I got a Lofton spinning out of the way. That might be a message after Valentin was hit by the pitch and didn't like it very much in the bottom of the last half inning.
Well, Lofton will be the guy that you would think about doing something like that to if you want to send the message. Lofton's been hobbled a little bit with a bad back, too. Missed some games just prior to the start of this series. That couldn't have helped his back much, the way he had to move around to get out of that. As a matter of fact, that hurt my back watching him.
Back to Van Egmond. And Lofton is out. Quick reaction by Tim for the first out of the inning.
Quick reaction indeed. This ball hit hard by Lofton toward the middle, but there's Van Egmond to snare it. Throw him out easily.
One out in the 7th. Omar Vizquel takes a strike. He's working on a perfect day. 2 singles and a sacrifice fly. 1 RBI. Raised his average 18 points.
Reached a point in the game now, Sean, where the base on ball becomes very important to stay away from the base on balls. Everything doesn't get out of whack here, then you only have to face the big part of this order again 1 time. You start walking a couple people, then of course you change the batting order. You might give those big swingers of Baerga or Bell a second pop at you in the 9th inning. If they hit you into trouble, that's something else again. Can't do an awful lot about that. But those base on balls, you certainly can.
And as soon as you said it, he threw 4 straight balls. As is so often the case. And there are viewers, you know, who blame us for things like this when they happen.
Well,
you shouldn't talk about.
I don't blame them then.
Yes, that's right. But they're thinking it at home too. If they're astute baseball fans at home, which they are, they're saying, "Don't walk him now, especially not Vizquel."
Especially.
Yeah, make him
not
hit
a
it.
Vizquel.
The second walk thrown by Van Egmond in an inning and a 3rd, but they haven't had a hit against him yet. Baerga had a home run off the glove of Witten at over. It was reminiscent of the home run that went off the head of Jose Canseco a couple of years ago.
That's right.
And over the fence. I think that was also in Cleveland.
In the old ballpark.
Yep.
That's right.
Don't remember who hit it. That is well hit and down the line and gone. Ordinarily, when a left-handed hitter hits it in that direction, the ball will hook, but that one actually had a little fade to it, helped by the wind to stay fair. Second home run of the ball game for Baerga. A 2-run homer. his 5th of the season. And all of a sudden, it's a 2-run game, 8-6 in the 7th inning.
Sean, I think if Baerga had hit this ball really, really hard, he's going to get this pitch a little bit toward the end of the bat because it's an off-speed pitch. I think that, plus the wind, as you mentioned, kept that ball from hooking a lot more. Boy, he hit that ball a long way.
And the walk hurts Van Egmond as well. Walked the light-hitting Vizquel, who scored on the home run. That had plenty of distance. The only question was, would it stay fair? And it actually wound up quite a bit fair. Baerga has had 7 multiple home run games in his career now. It's the 6th time he's had 2 in a game. Of course, he's the fellow who hit one from each side of the plate in the same inning a couple of years ago. Well, apparently Stan Belinda has recovered from that injury that Kevin Kennedy told you about before the game, because here he comes in to pitch. And Van Egmond departs after an inning and a third, having allowed 2 runs on just the 1 hit, the home run by Baerga. Tim walked 2 and struck out 2 in his 2nd appearance of the season. And Belinda trots in to become the 3rd Red Sox pitcher of the afternoon, following Hanson, who pitched 5, and Van Egmond, who pitched an inning and a third.
So we know the results of Belinda being up throwing in the last inning. Obviously, it was a positive result. He'll be coming on now to pick up Tim Van Egmond, who will quench his thirst. Belinda just now reaching the mound as the ball is handed over to him from Kennedy's. Belinda picked up that 2nd win. It goes no losses on Thursday night when Mike McFarland homered. In that ball game, Belinda went 2 2/3 innings, all zeros across his line in that ball game, except the 2 strikeouts that he had. There are his totals: 1 hit and 8 1/3 innings, walking 5 and striking out 8.
Around the Horn is brought to you by Olympic Stain. And this afternoon, we're going to check league leaders from the National League. Barry Larkin is the leading hitter in Major League Baseball, the only hitter who started the day above 400, and he's comfortably above it, 418, leading Erik Karros and Jose Offerman of Los Angeles. Matt Williams started the day tied for the Major League lead in homers, but Mo Vaughn has hit one to move out of that tie. We'll on to see Sammy Sosa running 2nd and 3rd. Matt Williams tied now with Mark McGwire and Mo Vaughn for the Major League lead in runs batted in with 27. He leads the senior circuit by 3 over Ron Gant and 4 over Jeff King. And Bobby Jones and Kevin Jarvis are tied for the National League earned run average lead, percentage points ahead of Jim Bullinger of the Cubs, who pitched last night in a win for Chicago at Los Angeles. Around the Horn brought to you by Olympic Stain. And around the bases went Carlos Baerga for the 2nd time this afternoon and make this a 2-run game. The first hit for Cleveland since the 4th. Albert Bell, 1 for 3. He singled to center in the 3rd off the starter Hanson. All 3 of his at-bats today were against Erik Hanson. Belinda's first pitch, a strike. It was April 8th of 1993 that Baerga became the first player ever to hit a home run from each side of the plate in the same inning. It was in the 7th inning of a game against the Yankees. He hit one right-handed off Steve Howe, then hit one from the left side of the plate against Steve Farr. And he became the first Cleveland player ever to hit 2 home runs in an inning. The first in Major League history to hit 2 in the same inning from each side of the plate. Both his home runs today came from the left side, and they weren't in the same inning. The 1-2 from Stan Belinda, well outside. Red Sox bullpen is quiet. And Cleveland has a right-hander throwing in its bullpen.
Mr. Tavares once again.
It is Julian Tavares. Full count now on Bell. 1 out here in the 7th. Base is empty after the home run by Baerga. Belinda working to Bell, and then Eddie Murray will hit next.
Hamstring on the right side bothering Belinda, if it is bothering, and it looked like it could be. Could take a little bit of velocity from his fastball, as that's the leg that he uses to drive.
Bell pops it up. Naring has a play. 2 down here in the 7th. Kevin Kennedy indicated after yesterday's loss that he is concerned about the performance of Derek Lilliquist. He was quick to offer a vote of confidence for Ken Ryan after Ken had the worst outing of his Red Sox career Friday night. But Ken is going to be our closer now and in the future. But he has to be lacking in confidence these days when he puts out the call to the bullpen with the way the bullpen crew has worked lately. Eddie Murray today is 1 for 3. A 3rd inning single. Struck out in his last at bat.
Well, I would think for the Red Sox, if they were interested in some of the other closers who are probably going to be available in not too distant future, possibly a Jeff Montgomery, maybe a Rick Aguilera, in keeping with the philosophy of Dan Duquette, those types of closers are probably going to cost you some pretty good young players. I would think it would be dependent on the time of the year you would reach and the position you find yourself in with your club, whether you would want to get into the market for those people. But you would have to think if they could get one of those 2 guys, you'd certainly have to give it some strong consideration. I know Cleveland they're not as actively shopping for closers they were before the unfortunate season disabling of Harvey.
Brian Harvey of Florida. They were very close, reportedly, to making a deal for Harvey, and have to be glad that they didn't, as he's had arm trouble again. And there's some discussion that his career might be over. 3-1 the count now on Murray. Tying run is in the on-deck circle. Certainly, Belinda doesn't want to walk Murray and bring Thome to the plate. Representing the tying run. Red Sox lead 8-6 in the 7th inning. What a good-looking cut by the veteran Murray.
A couple of games that we have done, Sean, in this series, and a little bit of the game I saw on television on Thursday, I don't think I've ever seen Eddie Murray take swings in the fashion that he's taking. It makes me wonder also if he's seeing the ball well. Obviously, I've talked so many times, when you're in a slump, you're not picking up the ball properly. Murray's always, throughout his career, had a little more trouble operating from the right side of the plate than he has the left, as far as average is concerned.
He pops that one up in shallow right. Wes Chamberlain ends the inning. Cleveland cut its deficit in half with a 2-run homer by Carlos Baerga. 7th inning stretch at Fenway. The Red Sox 8 and the Indians 6.
You're looking at Julian Tavares, the new pitcher and the 4th pitcher of the afternoon for the Cleveland Indians. All the relievers in this series for the Indians have been the pitchers of record. We told you Poole, the loser, on Thursday. Tavares picked up the win on Friday night when he shut out the Red Sox on 1 hit over the 2 1/3 innings that he worked against them. He picked up that 1 win that he has. 5 hits given up in 10 2/3 innings on the year. The 21-year-old right-hander. Just a couple of base on balls and 9 strikeouts, making his 8th appearance.
Wonder if he still has any hearing left after Take Me Out to the Ball Game was played at a deafening volume coming through the speaker in center field.
3rd baseman, Tim Nelson.
Red Sox with a 2-run lead. It's a precarious lead given the recent history. They'd like to add to it, certainly. in the bottom of the 7th as Tim Naring leads off against Tavares. And Tim looked at a strike on the inside corner. Tim's had a perfect day. A single, a double, a walk, and a run scored. Double fell between Lofton and Ramirez in right center when neither one of them took charge in a ball that should have been caught. Tim benefited. He's now hitting .350. In the air, well hit, left field, up and gone. Second homer of the season for Tim Naring. Third of the afternoon for the Red Sox. And the Boston lead is 9-6. And welcome to the ball game, Julian Tavares.
Well, the Red Sox batters 2 times today now have come right back after the Indians have scored a couple runs, or 1 run to get a little closer. And the home run has added on. One by Vaughn, and now this one by Naring. His second round tripper of the year, about halfway up in the screen and left. And once again, the Red Sox lead is now 3.
And Troy O'Leary is batting for West Chamberlain. O'Leary's hitting .341, 15 hits, 44 at bats, including a home run. He has driven in 7. 3 for 5 this year as a pinch hitter, including a pinch hit 3-run homer in Detroit. Troy's put together a modest 3-game hitting streak. He's hit safely in 6 of his last 7. Two and 2 the count. Bill Hasselman on deck, and Ron Mayhay is due against Tavares. To left field, and Bell, middle of the warning track. 1 out.
The designated hitter, number 37, Bill Hasselman.
Bill Hasselman, like Naring, working on a perfect day and trying to keep it that way. He looked at a fastball for a strike. Bill singled to center field to pick up an RBI, his first in Red Sox uniform. He scored in that inning. He was hit by a pitch in the 3rd. Drove in another run with a sacrifice fly in the 5th. He's quickly behind in the count, 0-2. And the Suns back out. And Hasselman's gone on 3 pitches. 2 outs in the 7th. First strikeout for Julian Tavares.
Julian seems to have reached back and got a little extra since Naring has hit that home run off of him.
Center fielder.
And a pop-up off the bat of Leary, and this sizzling Peter on that outside corner.
Mayhay up the middle, base hit. And he's had a solid big league debut. He's 2 for 4. Doubled and drove in a run, scored in the 2nd. His first major league at bat.
This looked to be a hard split-fingered pitch here. It really didn't duck or dive as much as it should have, and Mayhay stayed right on it and nailed it right back up the middle. Second hit for the rookie in his debut. Expect to see some action from him here in the first or second pitch.
Schumpert looked at ball 1. Terry's 1 for 4, a second inning RBI double. He also scored in the inning. Red Sox lead 9-6. Mayhay at first with 2 outs. In the 7th, 1 run in this inning on the home run by Naring. Wow. Strike. It must have just nipped the corner. 1-1 on Schumpert. Only Cookie Rojas and Frank White played more games at second base for the Kansas City Royals than Terry Shumpert.
Nobody else had a chance.
That was it. They held it down for many, many years.
Oh. They just came. They moved in when they came, didn't they?
They bought a house. They didn't rent. It was Shumpert who really ended Frank White's career when he arrived on the major league scene, took over as the everyday second baseman in 1991. Got into 144 games. He's never been much of a hitter. Talking about Shumpert, 220 big league hitter. Frank White played in 2,150 games for the Kansas City Royals. Second base, Cookie Rojas, 792. Shumpert third all time in Kansas City history with 306 games at second base. I think O'Lean will probably move past him. Mayhay running as Shumpert fouled it away, 1-2.
Sean, I think one of the things about Shumpert, you're talking about him not being an effective big league hitter. He has just enough power maybe to be convinced that he can hit more home runs, and that kind of alters his swing a little. Even with the 2 strikes on him now, you don't see him choke up and try to slap the ball around or get it in play. He had 8 home runs last year for Kansas City in 64 games.
And he has a hit. Line drive to the left. Mayhay stops at second. And the Red Sox are still swinging in the 7th with 2 outs. Shumpert's 2 for 5. 3 hits in the inning off Julian Tavares.
Shumpert's second hit of the ball game, his first one, a very big one for the Red Sox, as he bounced one, or actually lined one out to right field. This time he gets the breaking ball when he's down in the count and hooks it on the line to left field.
"15 hits for the Red Sox, the most that they have had in a home game this year. Their season high is 17, which they did twice in that series at Detroit when they pummeled the Tiger pitchers. Mark Wiley, pitching coach at the mound. He's in his 2nd tour of duty as pitching coach. Just came back into the dugout when Phil Regan left to become manager of the Baltimore Orioles. Paul Ossenmacher is warming up in the Cleveland bullpen. Red Sox bullpen is quiet. Larry McCoy is going to bring it into the chat. Red Sox have 9 runs on 15 hits and 1 error. Cleveland 6 runs, 10 hits, and 2 errors. Tavares, the 4th pitcher for Cleveland today. Bud Black, the starter, went 2 innings plus 2 batters in the 3rd. And was knocked around for 6 runs, all earned on 9 hits. Then Jason Grimsley pitched 3 2/3 innings, gave up 2 runs, 1 earned on 2 hits. He struck out 5, walked the man, threw a wild pitch, hit 2 batters. Jim Poole faced 1 batter and retired him. And Tavares came on to open this inning, was greeted by the home run by Naring. Retired 2 men, then Mayhay singled, Shumpert singled. And the Red Sox trying to add to their 3-run lead with Valentin at the plate. He was hit by a pitch from Grimsley last inning. John's 2 for 3, 2 doubles, as knocked in a run.
The best way to work back at a club that you feel is trying to nail you a little bit is nail them right back. Timely base hit here would be very pleasing to Mr. Valentin.
Pena thought about a throw down to first. Shumpert wound up diving back into the bag as Sorrento was sneaking in behind him. Mayhay at second, Shumpert at first. Decent speed on the bases for the Red Sox with 2 outs. 2-1 pitch is a low. 3 balls and a strike, and Mo Vaughn looms in the on-deck circle.
You'll never see Julian Tavares. In this inning, I should say. May see him in the next, not this one.
Baerga sneaks in, and Mayhay is picked off. Well, an otherwise sterling debut for Mayhay, but that's a huge mistake. 1-4 for the pickoff, and that ends the inning. Red Sox settle for the 1 run on the nearing homer, and after 7, they lead 9-6. Roy O'Leary remains in the game in right field. He came up as a pinch hitter in the bottom of the 7th. Red Sox have Ken Ryan warming up in the bullpen. And Stan Belinda is still on the mound, about to begin his 2nd inning. His first full inning, he came on with a 1-out last inning, retired both men he faced. Jim Thome leads off. Lines one slicing into the stands in left. This might be Thome's last chance to extend the longest hitting streak of his career to 13 games. He's 0 for 3 and has whiffed all 3 times. Manny Ramirez on deck, and then Paul Sorrento. Let's pause for station identification. This is the TV 38 Red Sox Network.
This is TV 38, WSBK, Boston.
Thome chop one foul. With Bob Montgomery, Sean McDonough, our producer-director John Wilson. At Fenway Park, final game of this 4-game series. Red Sox hoping for a split of the 4-game set before they head out on a West Coast trip that begins Tuesday night in Seattle. We're next with you here on TV 38 and many of our network stations Friday night from Anaheim, the Big A. I think now the Rams aren't there anymore. They'll knock down that monstrosity out there in center field, open up that outfield fence like it used to be when it was such an appealing ballpark.
They would please no one more than me if they did.
Thome, well hit ball, left center. Mayhay will have to play it off the wall. His throw to second is not in time. And Thome has extended his hitting streak with a double. And that brings the tying run to the on-deck circle for Cleveland.
Pretty good at bat by Thome after Belinda had him on his hip early in the count. Brought off a couple tough pitches. Mayhay with just a momentary bobble right there as he came off. Remember, this man has a very good throwing arm. Maybe a lot of opposing ball clubs are not aware of that. He made it kind of a close play. Of course, Thome's not the fastest runner in the world.
And the home run by Naring looks just a bit bigger now. Ramirez would have been up there representing the tying run, and he is on a home run tear. He's 0 for 3 today. And Thome has hit in 13 straight games. The longest hitting streak of his career and 3rd longest in the American League this year. Mark McGuire's streak still active heading into today at 17 games. Lee Tinsley had a 14-game streak to start the year. Ed Sprague is working on a 13-game hitting streak heading into today's action at Detroit. And now Thome has hit in 13 in a row. The 0-2 from Belinda. Base hit on an 0-2 pitch. Thome will score with ease. Ramirez has his first hit of the ball game and first RBI of the game, his 23rd run batted into the season. And Kevin Kennedy is on his way to the mound.
Number 11, first baseman.
Red Sox still 6 outs away from victory. Brought Ryan in Friday night to try to get 5 outs, and Ryan couldn't save it.
The breaking ball just kind of a floater from Belinda. Stayed up high, and Ramirez reached out over that plate, slapped it into center, and drove in his teammate, Jim Thome, from second. Still nobody out here in the 8th. Ramirez seemed to be covering an awful lot of that plate. Most of the balls that he has seen from the middle of the plate out, he's getting to without an awful lot of problems, and got to find some way to maybe try to keep him a little more honest, get him to move his feet a little bit with some pitches on the inside.
So Ken Ryan comes in, trying to bounce back from the shellacking that the Indians put on him on Friday night. Stan Belinda pitched 2/3 of an inning, gave up 2 hits and 1 run. He's responsible for Ramirez. And as Ryan comes in, we'll check the scores in the American League. Toronto still leads Detroit 1-0. Al Leiter and Danny Cox have combined to shut out Detroit to this point. They're in the bottom of the 7th. Yankees, behind Sterling Hitchcock, are shutting out Baltimore 5-0. Bottom of the 7th at Yankee Stadium. California has a 3-0 lead on Chicago in the top of the 6th at Chicago. Mike Bilecki, the California starter. Seattle and Minnesota, it's 3-2 Mariners. In the 8th, Pedro Munoz has homered for the Twins, his 5th, the solo home run. Oakland leads Kansas City 3-1. That's in the top of the 6th at Kauffman Stadium. Texas scored 3 runs in the 2nd. They now lead Milwaukee 3-0 in the 3rd. Kenny Rogers has now pitched 19 straight scoreless innings, a Texas record for a left-handed pitcher. In the National League, it's Philadelphia leading the Mets 4-3. Mets trailed 4-0 after an inning. They've been fighting back ever since. Atlanta beat Florida 5-1. The Marlins managed only 2 hits. John Smoltz, the winner, to go to 3-2. Colorado leads Cincinnati 2-0. Bottom of the 5th at Riverfront. It's Montreal 2 and Houston 0. Bottom of the 5th at Houston. Later on, St. Louis at San Francisco, Chicago at Los Angeles, and Pittsburgh is at San Diego. Another check of the Dunkin' Donuts scoreboard. And now we'll check the numbers on Ken Ryan as he is in a save situation.
Well, just as down as his outing was on Friday, he gets the job here done this afternoon. Can turn just as bright for him. Kenny Ryan simply was trying to get these Cleveland hitters out with his 3rd best pitch on Friday night. That's all there was to it. Made some mistakes, got the ball up with what is they're calling a cut fastball, and Ramirez and Albert Bell just lost the ball on him. Consequently, he was charged with the 6 runs on 4 hits in an inning and a 3rd. Through 41 pitches to get 4 outs.
Needs to get 6 outs today. Nobody out in the 8th. Tying run at the plate, Paul Sorrento. Ahead in the count, 2-0. We talked about it the other night. We've talked about it many times in the past when Ryan has pitched. It doesn't seem he throws his fastball enough. And that was particularly perplexing when you hear Ken say after the game that he felt he had good velocity in his appearance on Friday night. If that's the case, why'd he fool around with so many off-speed pitches?
First of all, I think a cut fastball is for a guy who's reached his maybe downside of his career. 32, 33 years old. You need something that's a little trickery. You throw 94 miles an hour, you don't need any tricks. On top of that, he's got a pretty good curveball. And a cut fastball and a curveball is not a combination, I think, that gets along well. And I think the curveball suffers once you start putting a cut fastball in your selection of pitches.
Ryan has fallen behind Sorrento 3-1. Paul has already walked twice today in addition to his home run back in the 2nd. And that's well hit. Right field. O'Leary running out of room. Home run, Paul Sorrento. His 2nd of the ball game. Baerga has also hit 2 today for Cleveland. And Ryan is hearing the boos from this big crowd at Fenway. The Indians have tied the game at 9. For the 3rd straight day, the bullpen has let the Red Sox down in a big way against the Cleveland Indians.
Ryan behind in the count. He's got to come with a fastball now in a good part of the strike zone, and he does. Sorrento, who has been really wielding a home run bat, once again, the homer is gone. As a matter of fact, the first home run he hit this year with nobody on was back in the 2nd. This one, with a man on, 9s are shared by the Indians and the Red Sox. 9 runs apiece.
And the Indians have hit 4 home runs today. So Belinda charged with 2 runs in 2/3 of an inning on 2 hits. Ryan 1 run on 1 hit. Wayne Kirby batting for Pena. Tony went 2 for 3 today, a couple of singles. Kirby hitting a .190, 4 for 21 this season, no homers, 2 runs batted in. 1 for 7 as a pinch hitter. Been the most frequently used pinch hitter for Mike Hargrove. 9-9 the score. The hits 15-13 in favor of Boston. Certainly the bullpen will be the focus again today, but you also have to look back, as was the case on Friday night, at all the missed opportunities to score for the Red Sox. They've left 7 men on. They've hit into 3 double plays. Of course, Mayhay got picked off last inning when they had a chance perhaps to add to their run total. Now it's Jeff Pierce warming up.
Well, for this team to be successful, they're going to have to find somebody that can grab that closing role and hang on to it, whether it's a Belinda or whether it's a Ryan.
Ken Ryan seems to have the pitches to be able to do it. This is really the first time that he's gone into the season in his career expected to be that closer. Two pitch, up and away. And again, he was going deep into counts. 3-1 with Sereno when he hit the homer. Full count now with the second batter, Kirby. Kenny Lofton is on deck. And he had a little extra on that. He decided to get a little mad at himself as he blew that one by Kirby for the first out of the inning.
You can almost see the smoke trailing this pitch.
Center fielder, Kenny Lofton.
It might be an overstatement, but you have to think this could be a critical point of the season for Ken Ryan. This has the makings of something that will linger if it continues to go poorly. Lofton spills one down the left field line. He'll try for 2. Greenwell's throw is late. Lofton has a double. And the Indians have the go-ahead run in scoring position with 1 out.
Red Sox have been able to handle Lofton a little bit in some ways today. He was on base 5 times on Friday night. He winds up on second for his second base running event this afternoon. Anytime a guy with Lofton speed, though, gets it that close to a line, whether it's a right field line or a left field line, most of the time it's going to be a stand-up double for him. Greenwell did make that a little bit close, because you remember, Fenway Park's not quite as deep as a lot of other ballparks, so the left fielder gets to the ball a little quicker. But anything toward the line for Lofton is almost a conceded double.
First time Kenny has gotten it out of the infield today, but he has already scored a run. That's his second hit. He has already stolen a base today. He's driven in a run. He's a factor even when he's not much of a factor, if that makes any sense. It is Kell, the batter. He's been a factor today. 2 singles, a walk, and an RBI on a sacrifice fly. He has scored a run. He's been a very pesky hitter in this series. He had the big hit on Friday night in the 9th when the Red Sox pitched around Lofton to get to him. But Lofton on base, representing the go-ahead run. Vizquel single to tie the game. Lofton dancing around at second. Ryan off speed pitch, line to short. And Kenny Ryan and the Red Sox could use that. Fortunate that the double play resulted on the line drive that was hit right at Valentin by Vizquel. That ends the inning. But the Indians got 3 runs to tie it, 4 hits in the inning. The big hit, the 2-run homer by Sorrento that tied the score at 9 as we head to the bottom of the 8th.
Say the Red Sox clubhouse shops has the real stuff. They have authentic jerseys, caps, apparel, and memorabilia. They're your headquarters for Major League Baseball, the NFL, the NBA, the NHL, and NCAA products. Visit the Red Sox clubhouse shops at the Burlington Mall, the Emerald Square Mall, and the North Shore Mall.
The new catcher for Cleveland is Scooter Tucker. They hit for Tony Pena in the top of the 8th inning.
Lofton at second here. Valentin kind of bouncing around, and the ball smartly hit, but behind Lofton, and Valentin right there kind of dancing around. That ends the inning. And here's Valentin to lead it off.
So the Indians again scoring late. They got 6 runs to win it in the 9th on Friday, 4 in the 8th to win yesterday. They've scored 5 runs in the 7th and 8th innings combined this afternoon to tie up the game at 9. Bottom of the 8th, John Valentin, Mo Vaughn, Rich Rowland due up against Julian Tavares, who's pitched 1 inning and allowed 1 run. He gave up 3 hits last inning, but the inning ended when Mayhay was picked off second. Well, Valentin is back at the plate. He was at the plate when the pickoff play happened. And again, Ossenmacher is warming up, so this might be the only batter of the inning for Tavares, with Vaughn on deck and the lefty ready in the Cleveland pen. To short, gobbled up by Vizquel. One out. Here comes Mo, and here comes Mike Hargrove. 32,339 the attendance here this afternoon. Most of them still here. Ball game well past the 3-hour mark now. 32,339 the attendance. The 4-game series with Cleveland drew a total of 109,543. So the attendance continues to be excellent here at Fenway, in contrast to many of the other outposts around Major League Baseball. And Ossenmacher will be summoned to become the 5th Cleveland pitcher of the ball game. Well, it isn't only here at Fenway that the Red Sox organization is involved in a wild game today. Pawtucket is up at Ottawa, finishing up its series with the Lynx. Pawtucket trailed 10-0 after 3 innings, and they're now tied at 10 after 5. Pawtucket got 5 runs in the 4th and 5 more in the 5th to tie the ball game at 10-10 after 5. Pat Lennon has homered for Pawtucket. And if you're up there in Ottawa watching the ball game and getting our telecast, you turn down the TV and just listen carefully, and you'll hear the organ playing here at Fenway Park. They have that organ on full volume today.
Ossenmacher on for, I have to think, by looking at his numbers here, for what he's in this ball game to do right here. Retire a couple left-handers. Ossenmacher has not worked in this series. He is making his 6th appearance. No wins or losses, no record as of yet. He's worked just 3 1/3 inning those 5 previous appearances. Mostly zeros across his line, just 1 base on balls for the tall left-hander. He has struck out 6. And an important number, no hits given up in those 3 1/3 innings.
I think an important number for the Indians this season, the fact that they're faring well in the early season when the schedule works against them. They will play 19 of their first 28 games on the road. They've already played 14 road games. They're a very solid 9-5, 5-1 at home at Jacobs Field. So the schedule's going to swing around in favor of them when they catch up on the number of home games. And they're already 4 games in front of the AL Central. And looking at this team, Monty, and looking at the rest of that division, unless Chicago can pick it up, this Cleveland team could really run away in the AL Central, because Milwaukee, Kansas City, and Minnesota wouldn't seem to have anywhere near enough to contend with this club.
Well, I mentioned on Friday night, production comes from hitting the ball in the air, and these fellows can definitely hit it in the air. They can hit it a long way in the air.
As can this man, Mo Vaughn, who hit one in the air for a home run into the screen and left in the fourth off Jason Grimsley. It's his only hit in 3 official at-bats. He has also walked today. Batting with 1 out, bases empty, bottom of the 8th, 9-9 the score. Breaking ball, straightened Mo up, and it missed. Julian Tavares pitched an inning and a third, gave up 1 run on the nearing homer. He surrendered 3 hits and struck out 1. 1-1 the count now on Mo Vaughn. Strike 2. Erik Plunk has just started throwing in the Cleveland bullpen. Rich Rowland is due up next. Given that Plunk has only thrown 3 or 4 pitches, you wouldn't think he'd be ready in time to work to Rowland, but perhaps he might. Hargrove might also take his chance with Ossenmacher against Rowland, with Greenwell coming up after Rowland. Rowland struggling with the bat. Ossenmacher's been around. He's a 34-year-old veteran, signed as a free agent by Cleveland on April 10th. Made more appearances over the last 5 years in the majors than any other pitcher. 335. Pitched last year for the White Sox. He's also pitched for the Yankees, Cubs, and Atlanta. Is 3-2 to the hit dog. Check swing and a bounding ball foul. Ossenmacher's from Allen Park, Michigan, in the Detroit area. Graduated from Aquinas College in Grand Rapids, Michigan, with a degree in business administration. Left-handed hitters hit only 200 against him last year. Mo swinging for the down, just got a piece of it. And Baerga's hit 2 home runs today for Cleveland. Sorrento has hit 2, so it's only fair that the Red Sox have a batter hit 2 in this one. Mo has a chance to do that with 1 swing here.
Still got the shift on him, even though he's facing the left-hander. He's less apt to pull it against Ossenmacher.
He's trying to pull it, and he strikes out for the 2nd time this afternoon. 2 down in the 8th. 9-9 the score.
A steady diet of breaking balls really throughout this sequence, other than the 1 first fastball he threw Vaughn on the 3-2 count that he fouled down the 3rd baseline. Other than that, breaking ball after breaking ball after breaking ball.
Mark Wiley at the mound, just discussing their approach to Rowland. Ossenmacher probably not very familiar with Rowland.
This was a scene that,
Number 12.
not with the same people involved, but kind of the same situation on Thursday night. Jim Poole was left in the game to face Mike McFarland. That's when McFarland lost the ball, and the Red Sox won that game 4-3. Also happened in the bottom of the 8th inning. But as you said, Rowland has been getting an awful lot of playing time, not nearly as much as McFarland, but has the power to repeat that.
These 2 teams, particularly Cleveland, in danger of running through their pitching staff very quickly here this afternoon. I'd like to get some work from Ossenmacher. This game should go into extra innings. They don't have too many folks left out in that bullpen. Ossenbacher's the 5th pitcher of the game. Rolling to the right field corner. His first hit of the season is a fan interference double. So Ossenbacher stayed in to pitch to the right-handed hitting Roland and gave up Rich's first hit of the season. He's now 1 for 15.
A lot of power. Big lumberjack will push this ball into deep right field. It'll hit just about at the edge of the grass, take one bounce, and a fan reaches over and touches it there. Ball's out of play. It looked like that ball's going to bounce up in the seats anyway. So it's a 2-base hit for Rich Rowland. He represents the go-ahead run.
With 2 outs in the 8th and a 9-9 game, Mike Greenwell singled and scored in the 2nd. Hit a 2-run homer, his first home run of the year in the 3rd. Bounced into a 3-6-3 double play in the 4th and flied to left against the left-hander Jim Poole in the 6th. Red Sox have 16 hits now. Greenwell couldn't check his swing. Red Sox need to win to stay 2.5 games ahead of the Yankees in the American League East. New York shut out Baltimore 5-0 at Yankee Stadium today. A complete game 4 hitter for Sterling Hitchcock. Grounded to second and scooped up by Baerga. The Red Sox leave Rowland at second. On to the 9th. The Red Sox and Indians tied at 9.
New pitcher for the Red Sox as we go to the top of the 9th inning will be right-hander Jeff Pierce. Jeff worked in yesterday's ball game in relief of Rael Cormier. Faced 6 batters. Won an inning in 2/3. 10 hits on the year and 14 innings of work. No wins and a loss. Base on balls and strikeouts about on an even kill there. A little bit too many base on balls, obviously, for the number of innings, the 14 innings for Jeff.
He's the 5th pitcher for the Red Sox. And the previous 3 out of the bullpen all surrendered at least 1 run. Matt Eggman, Belinda, and Ryan. Carlos Baerga, the big man today for Cleveland. He and Paul Sorrento have carried the Cleveland offense. Each has hit 2 home runs. Baerga solo homer in the 1st. Lukey homer off the glove of Witten. And they need a 2-run homer off Van Egmond and knocked him out of the ball game in the 7th. 2 strikeouts, his first 2 strikeouts of the year, sandwiched in between. Little lob down the left field line. That is a fair ball. And a double, apparently touched by a fan, was, as you see. So the Indians have the go-ahead run in scoring position. The lead man on in the 9th. And another bloop hit for Baerga in this series. He's had a bunch of them.
Or finding a way, just finding a way to get it someplace where nobody can get a glove on it. Ball took 1 bounce up into the seats and a souvenir for that fan, and the 4th double of the year for Baerga. A leadoff double.
His 3rd hit, all for extra bases. Ken Ryan pitched 1 inning, allowed 2 hits and 1 run on the homer by Sorrento, and he struck out 1. Albert Bell, 1 for 4, a 3rd inning single to center. That was against the starter Erik Hanson. Hanson left with the score 8-4 Red Sox, but the bullpen couldn't protect it, and he won't pick up a win today. 1 strike on Bell. I mentioned the Yankees beat Baltimore 5-0. 5-12-0 for New York, 0-4-0 for Baltimore. Sterling Hitchcock, the complete game 4 hitter, now 2-2. Ben McDonald took the loss, 0-1. Randy Velarde hit his first home run. Bell, right center. O'Leary and Mayhay. Mayhay, a great backhand catch. And on the play, Baerga moves to 3rd. An even better catch than it appeared when you consider the fact that Mayhay and O'Leary spent a long time looking at each other before either of them took charge. For a few seconds there, it looked like a collision was a distinct possibility.
Look at the ground that Mayhay is covering here as he comes across. He's got to go across his body, being a left-hand thrower, and sticks that glove out, makes the catch. Nothing he can do about preventing Baerga from going to third, but he certainly prevented him from scoring, at least till now. Or so far, I should say.
The Red Sox are going to intentionally walk Eddie Murray. They don't gain anything in terms of facing a right-handed hitter because it's Thome on deck, but they will set up a double play possibility. We've also seen Kevin Kennedy already this year walk the bases loaded. After Thome, Manny Ramirez would be the hitter. Well, Murray is intentionally walked, put runners at first and third. The Red Sox infield is in. Now Kennedy is going to come to the mound and discuss the situation.
Well, the big decision for Kennedy now. Murray had not been swinging the bat well in this series. Matter of fact, didn't even look decent swinging the bat. What you've done now, you got yourself in kind of a jackpot. If you play for the double play and you don't turn it, you give up the go-ahead run with only 3 outs to try to get that back. If you play the infield in, it doesn't make much sense to have played the infield in with Thome coming up there if you're going to walk Eddie Murray. I would rather have the infield in with Murray hitting than with Thome hitting. So I got to assume that he's going to play everybody back here for the double play, and you run the risk, as I mentioned, of not turning the double play and giving up the go-ahead run. I'm not sure I want to do anything. I can stay away from getting to Ramirez if at all possible.
Well, they're going to play the infield in, it appears.
Number 25.
And the point you raised is a good one. I mean, makes it a lot. Well, they're going to play it halfway. Valentin and Shumpert are backing up.
Yeah, but a lot of times, if you're going to play halfway, then you really can't expect to turn the double play. Looks like they're going to be back at regular depth here now.
Well, that makes sense, because walking Murray doesn't make any sense if you're going to play the infield in, as you pointed out. Thome extended his hitting streak to 13 games with a double off the wall in left center. He scored on a single by Ramirez last inning. First and third and 1 out in a 9-9 game in the top of the ninth. Thome takes ball 1 outside. He does not run well. He has hit into 1 double play this year. He's also prone to the strikeout. He's whiffed 3 times today. And 21 times this season. That's a Cleveland club high. Ball 2, 2-0. Right-handed hitting Manny Ramirez is on deck. There's no action in the Boston bullpen. Crowd very quiet, anxious moment for the Red Sox. Count now 3-0 on Thome.
Well, Pierce has done all he could do except throw a strike trying to get Thome to hit the ball into the ground. Every pitch he's thrown him has been just about mid-shin high.
After the last one, Rich Rowland had his head turned halfway around, caddying to Larry McCoy, the home plate umpire. He had the green light on 3-0 and fouled it away. And the only 2 members of the Red Sox bullpen still out there, Derek Lilliquist and Alejandro Pena. And both have been throwing. Now the 3-1. Fouled away. Pierce has battled from 3-0 to a full count with Thome.
Well, Pierce does have a solid number of strikeouts in those 14 innings. He does have 11 strikeouts, and as you mentioned, Thome does strike out a lot. Obviously need to keep the ball out of play here.
Now the fans who were holding their breath a moment ago trying to spur on Jeff Pierce to the strikeout of Thome. It would be the 4th whiff of the afternoon for the Cleveland third baseman. 3-2 pitch. Fouled away. Looked like Pierce took something off it. Detroit beat Toronto today. 2-1 in the final. They got 2 in the 7th to win it. Another 3-2 to Thome. Well hit. Right field. O'Leary at the wall. Can't get it. Baerga scores. Murray to third. It's a double for Thome. His second in as many innings. And the Indians lead 10-9.
Thome, excuse me. Hits that high fastball, just about let her high, and he nails it. Looked like for a second, the Red Sox would have gotten a break here. Baerga knows that he can go. He's going to tag and score easily. Murray couldn't tell if that ball was going to be caught. Thought the Red Sox may have gotten a bad break by that ball staying in play. I thought Murray may have had a shot at scoring on that, but stays in play. He only got the third anyway.
Infield in. Ramirez at the plate. He looks at strike one. Ramirez 1 for 4, an RBI single last inning. That brought the Indians within 2 runs. Then Ramirez scored on the home run by Sorrento that tied the game at 9. Cleveland scored a run here in the 9th off Pierce to take the lead. 2 doubles and an intentional walk. 2 men in scoring position with 1 out. Paul Sorrento is on deck. The bullpen has been a disaster for the 3rd straight day for the Red Sox. Indians have scored a total of 6 runs from the 7th inning on in this one. It doesn't matter on whom Kevin Kennedy calls these days. None of them are getting the job done.
They've gone from that being one of their strong suits in the early goings when the short run of starting pitching was a must because of the shortened spring training. It's gone just the opposite.
And undoubtedly some of that is they're facing probably the best hitting club in the league in Cleveland, but still. Waving swing and a miss for strike 2. 2-2. The Red Sox will need to score in the bottom of the 9th. They have Naring, O'Leary, and Hasselman due up. Looks like Jose Mesa is warming up again in the Cleveland bullpen. The 2-2. Line to hit. Murray scores. Thome scores. 12-9 Cleveland. Ramirez lined a 2-2 pitch into right. The Bluebirds out in earnest now at Fenway, and understandably so. Ramirez has knocked in 3 runs in the last 2 innings. Kevin Kennedy on his way to the mound. Pierce on the hook for the loss unless the Red Sox mount a big comeback in the bottom of the 9th. Alejandro Pena will be the new pitcher. So the decision to intentionally walk Murray didn't pay off. I agree with what you said about the fact that he hasn't been swinging a hot bat. Made that a somewhat suspect move, but when these guys are pitching the way they are, it's tough to find fault with anything Kevin Kennedy does.
Well, they're kind of going into some of the power points of some of these Cleveland hitters I mentioned earlier about how effective Ramirez seemed to be on pitches that are from the middle of the plate out. Once again, that pitch from Pierce with a 2-2 count was out over the plate, and Ramirez just reached right over it and hammers it into right field.
Now pitching for the Red Sox, number 26.
Catcher set up inside, but the pitch misses way toward the outer third of the plate, and Ramirez lines it into right, driving in Murray and Tomey. And the Indians, another multiple run inning, and they just do not know when to turn their bats off. They just keep going and going and going. Ever ready, indeed. So the Red Sox will go to the bullpen once again. This time it's Alejandro Pena. Pena worked in yesterday's ball game, picking up that one loss that he has against the one win. 4.61 earned run average for the big right-hander. He was charged with 3 earned runs yesterday on 3 hits in the 1/3 of an inning he pitched. That drove that earned run average up to the 4.61. Albert Bell hit that home run off Pena yesterday that hit into the brick area under the Gillette sign in straightaway center field here. For Pena, that was the 2nd home run he'd given up this year.
We mentioned that Detroit beat Toronto 2-1. The Tigers had 2 runs on 4 hits and an error. The Toronto Blue Jays 1 run, 5 hits and no errors. Joe Baber was the winner in relief of Sean Bergman. He's 2-0. Danny Cox took the loss 0-1. And Mike Henneman saved it his 3rd. No home runs in that ball game. They had 19,000 and change at Tiger Stadium. And Seattle has defeated Minnesota 5-2. Randy Johnson now 4-0 with the win. Bobby Ayala saved it his 5th, and Kevin Tapani took the loss. He's 2-2. Pedro Munoz hit a solo homer off Johnson, the only home run in that ball game, his 5th of the year. And they had 12,000 and change at Minnesota, where the attendance has been very low. Paul Sorrento. He hit the home run last inning with a man aboard that tied the game at 9. He's had 2 homers and 2 walks, has driven in 3 and has scored 3. And he's batting with Ramirez at first. Still only 1 out and 3 runs in here in the 9th. The Indians lead 12-9. In the last 2 games, it was the 1 big inning for the Indians. 4 in the 8th yesterday, 6 in the 9th Friday. Today, they've spread it out over the last 3 innings. 2 in the 7th, 3 in the 8th, and 3 more here in the 9th. One ball, 1 strike. Jeff Pierce pitched a 3rd of an inning. With 3 runs on 3 hits and an intentional walk. He is responsible for Ramirez. He is the pitcher of record. Ossenmacher stands to be the winner for Cleveland. Double play ball. Shumpert, Valentin, Vaughn. But it might be a bit too late. The Indians get 3 in the 9th. And the bottom of the 9th is upcoming with Naring, O'Leary, and Hasselman due up for the Red Sox. Cleveland leads by a field goal.
The new pitcher and the new closer for the Cleveland Indians is Jose Mesa. You notice that 4-save mark there. That is a career high in saves for Mesa. As a matter of fact, twice as many saves as he had in his major league career coming into this season. 1-0 on the year there. Major league total of 34 wins and 45 losses. Mesa making his 10th appearance of the year for the Indians. He's walked 4, struck out 9, the league hitting .250 against the big right-hander.
Over the last 3 games of the series, Cleveland has scored 19 runs on 18 hits from the 7th inning on. They've scored 8 runs from the 7th inning on today against Kevin Kennedy's beleaguered bullpen. Red Sox have Naring, O'Leary, and Hasselman due up in the ninth.
Now batting for the Red Sox.
Again today, the bullpen will be the focus, but the Red Sox have squandered a lot of opportunities to score, more than the 9 runs they have on the board. Left 8 men on base with a man picked off and have hit into 3 double plays. Naring, lacking only the triple to hit for the cycle today, is singled, doubled, walked, and scored, and hit a home run. Fouled the first one away to the right. Ossenmacher for Cleveland pitched 2/3 of an inning without allowing a run. He gave up 1 hit and struck out 1. He will pick up his first win as a member of the Indians if Mesa can protect the lead.
Little whisker shave here for Naring from Mesa. Up under the chin. Tim wrenching that back to get out of the way.
One-two pitch, low and away. Bud Black started for Cleveland, then Jason Grimsley, Jim Poole, Julian Tavares, Paul Ossenmacher, now Jose Mesa. Naring down the line, just foul past third. Red Sox have also used 6 pitchers today: Erik Hanson, Tim Van Egmond, Stan Belinda, Ken Ryan, Jeff Pierce, and Alejandro Pena. Cleveland has 12 runs on 17 hits and 2 errors. The Red Sox 9 runs, 16 hits, and 1 error. Full count. Naring trying to reach base for the 5th time today. He's had an outstanding start from game 1 through the present. And he lines one toward the gap in left center. That will scoot through to the wall. Naring has his 4th hit. He's on base for the 5th time. He's 4 for 4. It's his 2nd double.
Pretty good bat all the way around for Tim Naring. After being knocked down, he was down in the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes, and finally worked the count to 3-2 and did not miss the fastball once again. I don't think he has missed a fastball in the last 4 or 5 ball games. He gets the heater, he's right on it.
7th double of the ball game for the Red Sox. They had 4 in the first 2 innings. 7 doubles, the American League high by 1 team in the game this year. 17 hits now, matches the Red Sox season high. The 3rd 4-hit game of Tim Naring's career. Troy O'Leary, the batter. First ball swinging, high drive, left center. Bell at the wall, can't get it. Naring had to hold up. He'll stop at 3rd. O'Leary has a double, and the tying run is coming to the plate with nobody out in the 9th inning for the Red Sox.
This ball kept getting blown by the wind. The wind continues to just rush toward the left field wall. See that ball well out of the reach of Albert Bell. Naring can't tell at this point here. Now he goes, and being 3 runs down and nobody out, no place for him to go but 90 feet when he could not judge whether the ball was going to be caught or not. Troy O'Leary with the 8th double for the Red Sox, and obviously that's now a major league high.
It is.
In doubles for 1 game.
And O'Leary is a doubling machine. He's doubled in 4 straight games and in 5 straight games here at Fenway. Mark Wiley out to chat with Mesa. Reggie Jefferson is going to bat for Bill Hasselman. Hasselman had a productive day, drove in a couple of runs. Now Jefferson, the tying run at the plate. 12-9 Cleveland has the lead. Nobody out, 2 men in scoring position. Ron Mayhay is on deck. Mesa missed low. Jefferson hitting .241, 7 for 29 this year. No homers, 3 runs batted in. He's 0 for 3 as a pinch hitter. High fly ball. Left field, Bell at the scoreboard makes the catch. Naring tags and comes on to score. It's a 2-run game, 12-10. Jefferson is his 4th RBI, and he didn't miss by much. Just missed that pitch.
Well, if you can control it at all, what you want to do is get that ball headed toward the left field wall today as that wind continues to stream. Didn't quite get enough of that one to get it up off the board with the aid of the wind. Naring easily scores from third on the sacrifice fly, and the Red Sox are 2 down.
Ron Mayhay had an eventful Major League debut. He's 2 for 4 with the bat. Doubled in his first Major League at bat down the right field line and knocked in a run in the second. He scored in an inning. He singled to center field in the 7th. Made a fine running catch in the outfield. He's also been picked off second base. 1 ball, 1 strike. Top of the order, Terry Shumpert on deck. Wow. That's the color, that one missed. Cleveland 12, Boston 10. 1 out in the 9th. O'Leary at second. The 2-1 to Mayhay. Chop to the right side. Sorrento to Mesa for the out. O'Leary to third, but now the Red Sox are down to their final out. And the Red Sox have used every position player available to them today, with the exception of Luis Alicea.
Terry Shumpert.
Terry Shumpert trying to keep the Red Sox alive. He's the tying run at the plate. 2 for 5 today. A double that drove in a run in the second. He scored in the second. He singled to left in the 7th. Line foul in the first base box seats. Down to third, big hop, but Tomey stayed with it, and Cleveland wins the ball game. And they win the final 3 games of this series. Final score today, 12-10 Indians. Totals and more from Fenway in a moment.
Massachusetts native Paul Sorrento is our Budweiser player of the game. 2 for 3 this afternoon. Both his hits are the round trip variety. Homers number 7 and 8 on the year. He drove in 3. He also scored 3. Congratulations to Paul Sorrento. Beechwood aged Budweiser. This Bud's for you.
The totals for this slugfest on a Sunday afternoon at Fenway for Cleveland: 12 runs, 17 hits, and 2 errors. They left only 5 men on base. The Red Sox, 10 runs, 18 hits, and 1 error. They stranded 9. Paul Ossenmacher, the winner, his first decision as a member of the Cleveland Indians, is his 4th American League win. Jeff Pierce took the loss. He's 0-2, and Jose Mesa saved it his 5th. Time of the ball game, a lengthy 3 hours and 48 minutes. Some of it excruciating for the Red Sox and their fans. 32,339 the attendance this afternoon. So the Red Sox have lost 3 in a row. Cleveland has won 3 straight. Final score of today's game: Cleveland 12, Boston 10. This is the TV 38 Red Sox Network.